Chapter 395. Director Su looked at Yang Tan's back as he left. He was helpless. He couldn't afford to offend this person. There was no other way. He could only go to talk to Xiao Chen. Although Xiao Chen was introduced by the Qing family, in the final analysis, although he had to give face to the Qing family, Xiao Chen wasn't a member of the Qing family. Therefore, the Qing family wouldn't be too dissatisfied if he changed his seat. He became the vice principal because of the Qing family's investment. However, because there was no vacancy for the vice principal, he enjoyed the treatment of the vice principal. The things he was responsible for and the office location were still in the director's office. Miss Wang, call Xiao Chen from your class to my office. Director Su called the class teacher of grade 12 class 1, Miss Wang, and asked her to call Xiao Chen over. Miss Wang agreed and returned to the classroom. At this time, Yang Tan had just returned to the classroom. When he saw Miss Wang calling Xiao Chen away, he couldn't help but smile sinisterly. You're still too inexperienced to fight with me. He had worked in the government for a period of time, so he naturally knew the truth of taking the higher-ups route. Just like he could sometimes use his identity to order Song Huawu. This was the same principle as the director ordering students in school, making them unable to resist. Xiao Chen just happened to see Yang Tan's wretched smile, and he immediately frowned. It seemed that this guy was doing something behind his back. However, he still walked to Miss Wang and asked, Miss Wang, what's the matter? Director Su is looking for you. He wants you to go to his office. I don't know the specifics, said Miss Wang. She didn't know Xiao Chen's identity. She only knew that Xiao Chen was a good student with good academic performance, so her impression of Xiao Chen was very good. Oh, okay. Xiao Chen said. As expected, it was Yang Tan who was causing trouble. He didn't even need to go. He had already guessed what was going on. It was definitely the matter of changing seats. He didn't expect Yang Tan to be so shameless. He knew to force him from the director's side. However, in school, Xiao Chen could only do things according to the school's rules. It was impossible for him to directly fight with Yang Tan just because he had the strength. Moreover, he was not clear about Yang Tan's strength. However, Yang Tan had Yang Tan's methods, and so did he. On the way to Director Su's office, Xiao Chen called Shen Zhenghao directly. Ah, it's Hero White Fox. Shen Zhenghao happily picked up Xiao Chen's call. Previously, when he heard that the warrior guild was investigating the White Fox, he was really worried for a long time. After that, Xiao En stopped all activities, which made him very happy. At the same time, he sighed at the power of the White Fox. However, Hero White Fox rarely took the initiative to call. If he did, he would contact Shen Jingxian. Who knew why he called this time? Uncle Shen, there's something I need you to do. Xiao Chen said politely. Ah. Hero White Fox, you still have something you need me to do? That's my honor. Please tell me. As long as I can do it, I will definitely not refuse. Shen Zhenghao was slightly stunned and then overjoyed. He was worried that he couldn't do anything. Now that the White Fox was asking him for help, he was naturally very happy. I have a little brother named Xiao Chen. I wonder if Uncle Shen knows him? Xiao Chen said. Pft, cough cough. Shen Zhenghao almost spat when he heard the White Fox's words. Xiao Chen. Isn't that the person who defeated Shen Jingxian? Why is he the little brother of the White Fox? Why didn't the White Fox kill him? However, this was other people's business. Shen Zhenghao didn't dare to ask more. He just said, I know. Isn't he a member of the Xiao family in Songning City? What happened to him? As far as I know, Songning Second High School is a school that Uncle Shen invested in, right? The school's director Su wants to adjust Xiao Chen's seat, but Xiao Chen doesn't want to change seats, so please call Director Su and tell him. Xiao Chen said. What? Shen Zhenghao was stunned. He thought he heard it wrong. What is this? Is this still a matter? For such a small matter of changing seats, the White Fox personally helped Xiao Chen to make a phone call? He was a little dizzy. Isn't this making a fuss over a small matter? Yang Tan made a fuss over a small matter, and Xiao Chen made a fuss over a small matter. It even alarmed Shen Zhenghao, the school's major shareholder. Is there a problem? Asked Xiao Chen. No, no. Shen Zhenghao said in his heart. If there is a problem, then there is a problem with my ability. Alright, Uncle Shen. That's it for now. After Xiao Chen finished speaking, he hung up the phone and walked a few steps quickly. He knocked on the door and entered Director Su's office. Shen Zhenghao was confused, but in any case, he quickly looked for Director Su's phone number. He usually didn't contact people of this level. If he wanted to call, he would call the principal of second high school directly. Xiao Chen, come and sit. Director Su saw Xiao Chen and greeted him enthusiastically. Director Su, why are you looking for me? Xiao Chen's impression of Director Su was still very good. After all, Director Su had helped him many times before. This time, he was used by Yang Tan. Most likely, he had no choice. Xiao Chen, actually, there is something that I don't want to say, but I have no choice. I was entrusted by someone, so I still have to say it. I hope you can give me face. Director Su was a little embarrassed. How could it be a director's turn to mediate the matter of changing seats? Director Su, is it about Yang Tan? Asked Xiao Chen tentatively. You know about it? Director Su was slightly stunned, then he shook his head. Yang Tan asked him to pressure him. It must be because he was defeated by Xiao Chen previously, so it was reasonable for Xiao Chen to know. Thinking of this, Director Su said helplessly, yes, he wants to change seats with you. I hope you can agree. Change seats? Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. To be honest, I don't want to change seats. Moreover, Director Su, you don't have to care about Yang Tan at all. Could it be that he has an identity that makes you afraid? It's not that I'm afraid. Director Su hesitated for a moment, but he still didn't say it. Yang Tan's identity was confidential. There was no need for Xiao Chen, a student, to know. The main problem was that Yang Tan came with an official document. Without any special circumstances, it was not good for him not to cooperate. At this moment, the phone on Director Su's desk rang. Shen Zhenghao really couldn't find Director Su's mobile phone number, so he dialed Director Su's office phone number. Hello. Director Su picked up the phone, and then his face suddenly changed. He answered a few times and then hung up the phone respectfully. Then, he looked at Xiao Chen with a bitter smile. Xiao Chen, you're quite powerful. Director Shen actually called me personally to tell me about this. Forget it, you can go back. Pretend I didn't say anything. Xiao Chen smiled and left Director Su's office. He swaggered back to the class. At this time, Yang Tan was already ready to change seats. He even sat next to Song Huawu in advance. Leader Yang, what do you mean? I have a task now. If you come to me, it will affect my work. Song Huawu had a headache with the person in front of her. She was very clear about Yang Tan's feelings for her, but she didn't like this somewhat gloomy person. Hee, it's not work now. You don't need to call me Leader Yang. My identity is Yang Tan, the illegitimate child of the Chen family who has just returned to Songning. Yang Tan deliberately emphasized his identity. I'm on vacation now. I've already applied for leave. I'm just here to return to my family. Song Huawu was slightly surprised. She didn't expect Yang Tan to be the illegitimate child of the Chen family in Songning. Previously, the Chen family in Songning had offended many people, including Xiao Enz, Hong Zhu, and herself. She didn't expect Yang Jiannan to be the illegitimate child of the Chen family. In this way, wouldn't the Chen family rise again? But I'm working. In that case, please behave yourself, Mr. Yang, said Song Huawu. Yang Tan was about to say something when Xiao Chen stood in front of him and knocked on the table. When Yang Tan saw that it was Xiao Chen, his eyes were full of smiles. He smiled faintly and said, "Are you here to pack your things? Hurry up and pack." As he spoke, Yang Tan stood up and gave Xiao Chen a place to pack his things and get out of here. However, he didn't expect Xiao Chen to sit in his seat and not move. He didn't pack his things but read casually. "Hey, what's the matter with you?" Yang Tan was a little anxious. "If you want to pack your things, hurry up. You can drag it for a while, but you can't drag it forever." "Drag what? Why would I pack my things?" asked Xiao Chen. "You." Yang Tan was choked by Xiao Chen. "Didn't you go to Director Su's office just now?" "Yeah, but what does that have to do with packing things?" asked Xiao Chen with a puzzled look. "He didn't ask you to change seats with me." Yang Tan was furious. This guy, is he pretending to be confused? Song Huawu frowned. She didn't expect Yang Jiannan to be so despicable. He used his power for personal gain. He actually used this method to change seats with Xiao Chen. "No, why would I change seats?" Xiao Chen looked at Yang Tan with a smile. "Could it be that you went to him and asked him to tell me to change seats with you?" Of course I didn't, but I know that he must have asked you to change seats." How could Yang Tan admit it? He was so infuriated by Xiao Chen that he spoke without thinking and nearly spilled the beans. "If you're so sure, then go and ask him." Xiao Chen snorted and ignored Yang Tan. "Humph." Yang Tan could only snort coldly and walked out of the classroom. He ignored the bell that had rung and walked quickly to Director Su's office again. However, when he understood the situation, he was a little surprised. Why did the Shen family stop this matter for no reason? Although the Zhenwu family was nothing in front of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, his identity in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau couldn't suppress the Zhenwu family. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C was only responsible for the secular families and some secular summits. As for the Zhenwu family and those martial arts sects, it was the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team B's responsibility. As the leader of Team C, he had no right to interfere. Chapter 396. Motherf *Ker. Yang Tan cursed in his heart. Moreover, he was still on vacation. His identity was the young master of the Chen family. However, the Chen family was an aristocratic family in the secular world. It was incomparable to the Zhenwu aristocratic family. This made him a little depressed. When he returned to the classroom, he looked at Xiao Chen with hatred. He lost the first battle, and he lost without knowing why. He didn't understand why the Shen family would participate in such a small matter and help Xiao Chen. It didn't make sense at all, but it happened. He had to believe this fact. Looking at Yang Tan's resentful eyes, Xiao Chen was a little speechless. It's really inexplicable. I didn't provoke him, but he started to target me. If you want to change seats with Song Huawu. I don't want to sit at the same table with this chick. Xiao Chen was only here to Miss Tang Tang. It had nothing to do with Song Huawu, but Yang Tan probably thought that he was reluctant to leave Song Huawu. I say, Song Huawu, what is this Yang Tan doing? He has some ability. He can even order the school's academic director to jump up and down. Do you know him? Asked Xiao Chen. Song Huawu was also a little speechless. She didn't expect Yang Tan to be so despicable, but she was a little helpless. His identity. I can only say that he is a little higher than me. You can figure it out yourself. I can't say, oh, then you can just say that he is also from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. After listening, Xiaofan immediately understood Yang Tan's identity, but he was a little surprised. Why is the Supernatural Investigation Bureau full of this kind of people? Narrow-minded and abusing power for personal gain? AI, do you think it's easy to be in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Nowadays, many martial artists are disobedient, so the Supernatural Investigation Bureau must open the door to recruit masters. However, these masters more or less have their own problems and shortcomings. As long as it's not a big deal, it can only be so. Otherwise, how can we recruit so many talents? Why don't you join too? Song Huawu said helplessly. Me? Forget it, after I go, I will become Yang Tan's subordinate. If he orders me to change seats with him, I really can't refuse. Xiaofan shook his head. He was not going to join. Alright, there are actually many good people in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, Song Huawu said. Like you? Xiaofan asked. Yes. Song Huawu smiled. You're really shameless. Xiaofan also laughed. At the back of the classroom, Jean Beibei looked at Yang Tan, who had returned in frustration. She said to Qing Menjing, "Cousin Menjing, look, Yang Tan went to ask for my cousin-in-law's seat, only to be frustrated." Xiaofan didn't want to trade with him. Qing Menjing had been thinking about how to test her brother and Chao Yuliang on Friday, so she didn't pay attention to other things. She couldn't help but ask. Jean Beibei said, yes, he didn't. Then that Yang Tan used 13 moves along the way, but he still didn't succeed. Right now, he looks like he's eating sh*t. Shoot. What are you talking about, girl? Yang Tan happened to hear what Jean Beibei said. He immediately burst into fury. He walked close and slapped Jean Beibei's desk hard. He had already been frustrated enough by Xiaofan. Now that someone was gossiping about him and saying that he looked like he was eating sh*t, of course he was angry. He didn't care if Jean Beibei was good-looking or not. His target was Song Huawu. Naturally, he would not show any mercy to her. Xia Shibin walked over, too. This was a listening class. There was no teacher, and he was sitting at the back of the classroom. Therefore, Yang Tan was not bothered at all. He had always been a bully with his capability and identity. Now that he was in school, he kept his old habits. Jean Beibei glanced at Yang Tan. Are you out of your mind? Does what I say have anything to do with you? You know very well what you're cursing him for. I'm warning you. If you talk nonsense again, I'll ask the school to expel you. Xia Shibin opened his mouth at this moment, very much like a lackey. It's none of your business. Don't talk nonsense. Do you know that a loose tongue can cause trouble? Oh, I really don't. Expel me if you can, Jean Beibei said. What's your name? As he spoke, Xia Shibin took out his tablet. Jean Beibei said. Pooh. Before Xia Shibin could investigate, Yang Tan was almost choked to death by his own saliva. He quickly waved his hands, indicating that there was no need to investigate. He waved his hands at Jean Beibei and said, "It's fine." "Idiot," Jean Beibei said. "Brother Yang, what's wrong?" Xia Shibin was a little confused. He had been dragged back. Didn't he go to look for trouble? Why did he leave with his tail between his legs? He couldn't deal with Xiaofan, but he could deal with a little girl, right? Would he still have any prestige in this class in the future? Do you know who she is? Yang Tan said angrily. Who? Isn't she called Jean Beibei? Xia Shibin asked, puzzled. A few years ago, her grandfather hacked a man from a noble family to death. Have you forgotten about that case? I was the one who brought you there. Yang Tan reminded him. Huh? The unreasonable golden-haired Lion King? Xia Shibin remembered. It's good that you know. Yang Tan was somewhat helpless. It was not good to provoke such a reckless person. He would never play his cards according to the rules. Although Team C of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was responsible for mediating the conflicts between the noble families in the secular world and supervising the process of the summit in the secular world, they were only mediating at the end of the day. The hatred between two noble families would not be investigated if the commoners did not report it. As long as the other party did not pursue it, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau would close the case. Most importantly, it was not good to offend those noble families. As long as they did not attack ordinary people or disrupt the normal social order, they would not be punished. As for the conflicts between the noble families, it was not something that the Supernatural Investigation Bureau could deal with at all. If they could deal with it, there would be no summit at all. Therefore, Yang Tan was really afraid that if he offended Jean Bebe, her grandfather would come to school with a saber and hack him to death. You really can't afford to offend this kind of completely unreasonable person. He doesn't follow common sense to make moves against you. Why do I feel that there is something wrong with this Yang Tan? He seems to have an extraordinary background. Cheng Menjing could tell that Yang Tan seemed to have some connections. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so arrogant or heard of Jean Bebe. Who knows? Cheng Menjing did not know, much less Jean Bebe. He went to change seats with Xiao Chen. He likes Song Huawu. Cheng Menjing thought of the possibility. Then, she suddenly recalled Song Huawu's identity. He is not from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, is he? Oh. What do you mean? Who else is? Jean Bebe was dazed and somewhat confused. Song Huawu, too. I haven't had the time to tell you what happened in the past few days. Cheng Menjing hurried to tell Jean Bebe about Song Huawu. Oh. Jean Bebe was greatly enlightened. No wonder. He is from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Then, isn't my cousin-in-law in danger? He. Who asked him to not change seats? He deserves to offend someone. Cheng Menjing sniffed. If Xiao Chen had changed seats to the back, he would have been closer to her and Jean Bebe. However, Xiao Chen did not change seats at all. Who knew what was on his mind? Jean Bebe thought for a moment and said, maybe he misses Sister Tang. I don't think he likes Song Huawu. Oh. Cheng Menjing felt more at ease after hearing that. If that was the case, she felt that Xiao Chen was a man of affection and loyalty. All right. Cousin Menjing, why are you so absent-minded? Asked Jean Bebe. Me? I'm considering the test over the weekend. Cheng Menjing was actually somewhat hesitant. Cheng Mengxiang was her brother after all. What should she do if there was really something wrong with him? If she stood on Xiao Chen's side, she would be going against the Cheng family. After all, in her opinion, Cheng Mengxiang was definitely not the mastermind behind the incident. Her grandfather might also be involved. What should she do then? Although in aristocratic families, a married girl would belong to someone else's family, she was still single, wasn't she? What's there to consider? Anyway, I'm on my cousin-in-law's side. What about you? Asked Jean Bebe. Me too. Cheng Menjing nodded and made up her mind. After failing to change seats, Yang Tan and Xia Shibin did not trouble Xiao Chen again in the next few classes. Although he had a distinguished identity, he had to abide by some rules and could not attack ordinary people for no reason. Xiao Chen used to be a descendant of an aristocratic family, but he was no longer one now. Furthermore, he was a good-for-nothing without inner force. If Yang Tan really beat him up, it would be an unfair victory. The first class in the afternoon was still Miss Wang's class. After she walked into the classroom, she did not start the class immediately. Instead, she announced, "Everyone, please be quiet. I have something important to announce." In fact, even if Teacher Wang didn't say it, everyone could more or less guess what it was. This was because every time, there would be a basketball match between number 1 middle school and number 2 middle school, and the school would first conduct a selection. From each grade and class, 1 or 2 players would be selected to compete in the basketball match between the first, second, and third years. As expected, Miss Wang waited for the class to quiet down before she continued, in order to relieve everyone's pressure from studying, add some fun to the boring academic life, and let everyone relax. The school's board of directors has decided to hold a basketball match between number 1 high school and number 2 high school. There will be a total of 3 matches between the first, second, and third grades. First, there will be a selection within the school. The outstanding ones will compete in the finals between the 2 schools. Of course, this activity is not compulsory. Students who are interested in this area can sign up. Girls can also volunteer to be cheerleaders. Of course, many students are already very familiar with this competition because it has been around since you were in your first year of high school. Private high schools did not have that much pressure to enter a higher school. Therefore, apart from studying, the school would often hold some small activities for everyone to relax. In the past, the basketball match was basically nothing to Class 1. However, it was different this time. With Yang Tan, a transfer student who loved sports and was good at basketball, everyone's sense of belonging to the activity naturally increased a lot. They would not purely be spectators like in the past. Chapter 397. Sports Commissary Ma Gangmen, please organize everyone's registration after class. You can also go to the sports field or the stadium to practice basketball during the self-study session in the afternoon. Although the purpose of the game is friendship first and competition second, it will be a great honor for the players in our class if we can really win a place. Miss Wang said, I hope that everyone can sign up. This is also the last basketball game for the third year of high school. Those who have never participated in a game before can also give it a try. Miss Wang's words were immediately echoed by most of the students in the class. Indeed, this was the last basketball game of their high school career. Whether they won or lost, it would be a precious memory in their college life. Therefore, some of the students who were good at sports but not good at basketball and had never participated in a basketball game before were also eager to give it a try. After all, whether they could win a prize or not, at least they would have no regrets participating in the game. Cousin Menjiang, I heard that your cousin-in-law was a slam dunk expert when he was in Songning First High School, asked Jean Bebe. Him? He lost the last game to Chao Yuliang. Cheng Menjiang shook her head. However, he might sign up. After all, he left number 1 high school after losing in front of me and Jingxian. Also, many people have doubts about his basketball ability and accused him of fixing the game. I feel that, with his character, he will definitely fight back. But he is much more reserved now. He is not as arrogant as before. Yes, yes. Jean Bebe nodded. The cousin-in-law I know is completely different from the one you described before. Who knows? Let's leave him be. But I'm worried that he doesn't have any internal force. If Yang Tan participates in the game, will he play some tricks in secret? Cheng Menjiang could not help but feel worried. I heard that Xiaofan lost the basketball game in number 1 high school because Chen Jinpeng betrayed him and used internal force. Oh, it's fine. I have confidence in cousin-in-law, Jean Bebe said indifferently. Cheng Menjiang was a little puzzled. Since she knew Yang Tan's identity as a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he must have inner force. If that was the case, where did Jean Bebe get such confidence in Xiaofan? In fact, Xiaofan had the same thought. Back then, when he left number 1 middle school, he basically left with his tail between his legs. In the last basketball game, Xiaofan was dealt a heavy blow by Chen Jinpeng. Now, there was a basketball league opportunity for him to take revenge. However, Chen Jinpeng was already dead. Luckily, Chao Yuliang was still alive. Before he died, Xiaofan decided to make a strong comeback. However, the one who gave Xiaofan a headache was Yang Tan. He was a troublemaker for no reason. He did not intend to have any conflict with Yang Tan, but Yang Tan targeted him as soon as he arrived. Since that guy was also good at basketball, it seemed that there would be another fierce battle. As long as Yang Tan was there, he could not use force casually. It would be bad if he was discovered by Yang Tan and exposed. Fortunately, Xiao Chen was a cultivator. As long as he used the slightest bit of true qi, the others wouldn't notice anything amiss. They would only think that he was born with divine strength. Coupled with some of the abilities of a cultivator, this basketball game could be said to be a piece of cake for Xiao Chen. After all, he did not need to use too much strength. Basketball was not a fight. How much internal force did he need? At the same time, an uninvited guest came to the Chen family, which surprised Chen Huanling, who was on vacation at home. The person was Xiao En's. He did not expect that Xiao En's would come to the Chen family to look for him. He did not know whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. He had messed up Xiao En's matter in the past, so Xiao En's bore a grudge against him. Now that he had come, however, although his heart was beating like a drum, Chen Huanling still received Xiao En's very warmly. After all, he still had to be polite. After Chen Huanling invited Xiao En's to sit down, he poured him a cup of tea and asked, "Deacon Xiao, I don't know why you suddenly came to visit me, a person who has been on vacation. What's the matter?" "You're welcome, you're welcome." Xiao En's quickly stood up and took the teacup with a very respectful attitude. This made Chen Huanling a little confused. What does this Xiao En's want to do? "Deacon Xiao, you are a guest," Chen Huanling quickly said. Vice President Chen, no need to be polite. Hey, why didn't you tell me earlier that your son is Team Leader Yang of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C? Hey, I offended you before. I hope Vice President Chen is magnanimous enough to forgive me. Xiao En said the purpose of his visit. When he heard that Yang Jiannan had returned to Songning City to acknowledge his ancestors, he was a little puzzled. What ancestors did Yang Jiannan return to? He didn't expect that Yang Jiannan's father was actually Chen Huanling. This made him dumbfounded. The team leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C, Xiao En's often dealt with him, but their relationship wasn't very close. It could only be said that they knew each other, and Xiao En's was also under his management. When he thought about how he had offended Chen Huanling because of Song Huawu's matter, he felt that it was really unwise. His son was Song Huawu's superior, and it was an internal conflict. Why did he blindly get involved? Therefore, when he received the news, he immediately paid a visit to repair their relationship. On the other hand, he also smelled a glimmer of opportunity. Previously, because of Song Huawu's obstruction, he couldn't investigate the Arctic fox. Now, with Yang Jiannan's involvement, Song Huawu certainly wouldn't refute. After all, Yang Jiannan was Chen Huanling's son, and Chen Huanling advocated investigating the Arctic fox. This way, his work could be carried out smoothly. He didn't expect that there would be a glimmer of hope at the darkest hour. "Oh, you mean Xiao Tan?" Chen Huanling immediately understood why Xiao En's had such an attitude. Yang Jiannan's status was enough for a small executive like Xiao En's to look up to him. However, to be honest, the relationship between Chen Huanling and Yang Tan wasn't very good. Yang Tan didn't really recognize him. If it wasn't for Yang Xiaoling, Yang Tan wouldn't have returned to the Chen family. However, Chen Huanling naturally wouldn't say these secretive things. He suddenly stiffened up and calmly said the name, Xiao Tan. Yes, it's Team Leader Yang. Only Vice President Chen dares to call him Xiao Tan. Xiao En's laughed. Well, then why are you here? Chen Huanling asked. I wonder if Vice President Chen can introduce me to him. I want to meet Team Leader Yang tonight. Coincidentally, we can discuss the investigation of the Arctic fox. Xiao En said. But I'm not the vice president anymore. I'm just an idler resting at home. Is it really okay to discuss the Arctic fox? Chen Huanling said hesitantly. Vice President Chen, isn't it just a vacation? After the vacation, you will definitely have to go back to work. There's no problem on my side. When the time comes, I will give Chu Jingbian a heads up. As for the pressure from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, with team leader Yang supporting Vice President Chen, there's no pressure at all. Xiao En's laughed. Well, but you can talk to Chu Jingbian directly. Just hint about Yang Tan and my identity. Xiao Tan is also on vacation, so it's not very suitable for me to talk to him. Chen Huanling said. I know. No problem, leave it to me. Xiao En's patted his chest and promised. In the evening, Yang Tan returned to the Chen family with Xia Shibin. He was slightly surprised when he saw Xiao En's waiting there. Xiao En's, right? Why are you here? It's like this. Xiao En's rubbed his hands and told him about how he wanted to investigate the Arctic fox. Chen Huanling also agreed, but Song Huawu opposed it. Although Yang Tan didn't want to pay attention to these trivial matters, the Arctic fox had nothing to do with him. However, when he heard that his father suffered a setback on Song Huawu's side, he nodded and said, Okay, I'll talk to Huawu. You continue the investigation. Although Yang Tan and Chen Huanling's relationship wasn't good, he didn't want others to think that his family wasn't on good terms in front of outsiders. After all, they had already returned to the family. Wouldn't it be a joke if they had a conflict? Therefore, he readily agreed. As for Chen Huanling, he had a smile on his face. Xiao Tan, it must be hard going to school, right? I asked the kitchen to make some soup. Why don't you and Deacon Xiao have some? Let's talk while we eat. Okay, father, please take a seat. Yang Tan nodded and let Chen Huanling sit first. Then, he and Xiao En sat at the lower seats. After they chatted for a while, Chen Huanling felt a little smug. Xiao En's attitude towards him was completely different. Xiao En's treated him like an elder. All of this was due to Yang Tan's position, so he was somewhat glad that he made this decision. The Chen family was going to be glorious again. Even more glorious than before. Especially after a powerful figure like Yang Tan appeared. After school, Xiao Chen called Chao Yuliang. This made Chao Yuliang very surprised when he received the call. Xiao Chen. You called me? Chao Yuliang couldn't believe it. Chao Yuliang, didn't you ask me to help you pursue Cheng Menjing? Are you still pursuing her? Xiao Chen asked. Pursue her. Pursue her. Why, do you have the latest news? Chao Yuliang was taken aback. He thought to himself, Xiao Chen is actually so kind. Something's not right. Yes, but... Xiao Chen paused when he said this. Guyu, right? I don't have it either. In fact, you also know that it was that Li Shanning before. It was all planned by him. Motherf *Ker, Chen Jinpeng and I were all deceived by him. He wanted to kill us. Look, even Jinpeng was killed. Chao Yuliang said ambiguously. In fact, he was hinting to Xiao Chen that if Li Shanning wanted to kill him before, it was his own idea. It had nothing to do with Chao Yuliang. Otherwise, why would Chen Jinpeng also die? I know that Li Shanning killed Chen Jinpeng. I also heard about it. However, Li Shanning has been killed by my boss, the White Fox hero. Xiao Chen said, it can be considered as revenge for me and the shed. Chapter 398. Hey. What? White Fox is your boss? Chao Yuliang couldn't help but be stunned. He didn't expect that Xiao Chen and White Fox had a relationship. This was important news. He didn't know if he was bragging or... But anyway, he had to find time to report it to his master, Cheng Mengxiang. But now, he didn't dare to call casually. Last time, because Xiao Xiao was on the side, he almost spilled the beans. He wasn't sure if Xiao Xiao was also on the side when he called. So he decided to find a chance to see Cheng Mengqiang in person and then tell him in detail. If Xiao Chen's boss was White Fox, then things would be a little difficult. If he killed him, would White Fox seek revenge? That guy was a ruthless person. Yes, but I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about something else. Xiao Chen said, Cheng Mengqiang is going home this weekend, and I plan to invite a few classmates to go together. I don't know if you are interested. If you are, I can recommend you. Okay. Chao Yuliang was overjoyed after hearing it. Then. I'll try to help you get some ancient jade. He didn't have ancient jade, but the Cheng family did. At that time, he would see if he could get 2 pieces from Cheng Mengqiang and send them to Xiao Chen. This kind of thing could be used to numb Xiao Chen, so Cheng Mengqiang should support him. Well, about the ancient jade, you can pay a little attention. I won't treat you badly. Xiao Chen said lightly, we both know what's going on. You wanted to deal with me before, but now you don't have this thought, right? That's right. Chao Yuliang quickly said, how can I deal with you now? I'm not stupid. Huh. You are not Mengjiang's fiancé now, and the person you like is Tang Tang. Why should I go against you? You also know that it was Li Shanying who wanted to deal with you, but he is dead. I think we can still be good friends in the future. Okay, one more thing. I will participate in the basketball tournament between number 1 middle school and number 2 middle school, Xiao Chen said. Then I won't participate. Chao Yuliang quickly said. Don't. I will only feel it when I step on you. I mean to remind you that you must participate. Xiao Chen said. Okay. Chao Yuliang was a little speechless, but after thinking about it, it was really not good to refuse. At least before Xiao Chen died, it was not good to offend him. At least, Xiao Chen revealed good news to him today. After hanging up the phone, Xiao Chen was about to return to the villa, but suddenly someone called his name from behind. When he turned around, he found that it was Zheng Xiaokuan. Xiao Chen. Zheng Xiaokuan walked over and hesitated. What's wrong, Zheng Xiaokuan? Xiao Chen looked at him as if something had happened. Xiao Chen, do you know? Tomorrow. Tang Tang and Yu Xiaochuan will be engaged. Zheng Xiaokuan's tone was a little disappointed. Although it is unlikely between me and her, I still feel uncomfortable when I heard that she is going to marry Yu Xiaochuan. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly and patted Zheng Xiaokuan's shoulder. But there were some things that he could not say to Zheng Xiaokuan. He could only say, some things are not transferred according to our will. Will you go to the wedding tomorrow? Will you go? Zheng Xiaokuan asked. Me? I don't think I will go. Xiao Chen said, why? I am Cheng Mengjiang's servant now. It is not good for me to participate in other families' affairs. Zheng Xiaokuan nodded and suddenly asked, so, do you like Tang Tang or Cheng Mengjiang? If I say that I like all of them, will you beat me up? Xiao Chen said with a smile. Oh. Zheng Xiaokuan was slightly stunned, then shook his head and said, of course not. Who doesn't have a fantasy? But you and I are the same. We don't have a chance. How about having a drink with me? Let's go. Xiao Chen did not refuse. It was rare for Zheng Xiaokuan to have this interest. In fact, since Tang Tang left, the relationship between Xiao Chen and Zheng Xiaokuan had faded. After all, Tang Tang was the link that maintained their relationship. Xiao Chen and Zheng Xiaokuan could only be regarded as slightly better friends. They could not be compared with Zhu Yingxiong. Xiao Chen opened the door of the Land Rover and let Zheng Xiaokuan get in. Zheng Xiaokuan looked at him enviously. I say, Xiao Chen, you are really something. Your follower has a luxury car worth millions. Oh, a man named Li Shanin raced with me and lost to me. Xiaochen said, the one who was killed by Master White Fox. You also know Master White Fox? Zheng Xiaokuan was a little surprised. Master White Fox is my boss. Of course, I know him. Xiaochen smiled and said, didn't Lu Zhenming tell you? No. This guy, I brought him to the summit, but he didn't tell me even after knowing the news. Zheng Xiaokuan was a little annoyed and sat in the front passenger seat. Where are we going? Asked Xiaochen. Anywhere. Zheng Xiaokuan's face was slightly red. I rarely went to those entertainment places before. Hee hee. Xiaochen remembered a nightclub that Chen Jinpeng took him to before. It was near the Sakura restaurant in second high school. The nightclub was called Sakura Sleepless City. It seemed to be a chain of companies. They parked the car at the door, and the doorman enthusiastically brought them into the nightclub. Zheng Xiaokuan was a little nervous. Obviously, he didn't come to this kind of place often. Although his family used to be considered a semi-underworld family, their family was basically involved in some martial arts and security companies. They randomly chose a small private room and brought a box of beer. Xiaochen accompanied Zheng Xiaokuan to drink, but Zheng Xiaokuan's eyes were staring at a picture album called Custom Lady. He was a little tempted, but he was embarrassed. In the nightclub, it was very normal to have prostitutes. When Xiaochen saw Zheng Xiaokuan's appearance, he couldn't help but be slightly happy. Although he didn't call her that, Chen Jinpeng always called her that. Xiaochen was more obsessed with Shen Jingxian at that time. He wasn't interested in other women. Although he also liked Shen Jingxian now, the great change in his family had somewhat changed his mood. He wasn't as obsessed with women as before, but if Zheng Xiaokuan wanted to play, he wouldn't object. After all, Zheng Xiaokuan was young and vigorous, and now he had a lot on his mind. It was good to have some fun, so he grabbed the picture album and said, "Do you want to order too? You want to come too?" Zheng Xiaokuan wanted to take it, but he was a little embarrassed. "I'm not coming." Xiaochen shook his head and said, "It's my treat. You can order as many as you want. My stomach is a little uncomfortable. I'm going to the bathroom." Xiaochen knew that Zheng Xiaokuan would definitely be embarrassed if he stayed here, so it was better to leave. Zheng Xiaokuan declined twice, but he didn't refuse. He opened the picture album shyly, and Xiaochen went out of the private room. Standing in the corridor, Xiaochen could not help but smile. He felt that he had been using the identity of the White Fox to do things too frequently recently. His own personality was a little closer to the White Fox's. Today, he suddenly realized that school life was actually very beautiful. It was also good to have a friend like Zheng Xiaokuan. When he first transferred to the second high school, Zheng Xiaokuan stood up for him, which made Xiaochen feel touched. As he wandered in the corridor, his eyes suddenly fell on the elevator door in front. He was slightly stunned. Why is the figure in front so familiar? Why is she here? Not far ahead, two women each grabbed one of Lin's arms and dragged her to the private room at the end of the corridor. However, Lin's footsteps looked a little unsteady, and her whole body was swaying. It seemed that her mind wasn't very clear. Frowning, Xiaochen quickly followed. Since he saw it, he couldn't ignore it, especially Lin, the girl who he had publicly announced that he would protect. He tiptoed over, put his eyes on the door of the private room, and subconsciously looked inside the private room. It was just that the frosted glass on the door was blurred, and he couldn't see the situation inside at all. Xiaochen had to put his ear on the door and listen to the movements inside. Although the nightclub was very noisy, fortunately, Xiaochen's six senses were sharp. He could clearly hear what was said inside. "Maeda-kun, this is a high school girl. I know your hobby, so I specially caught her for you to enjoy." In the private room, a somewhat familiar wretched voice sounded. It seemed to be fawning on a person named Maeda-kun. Red-haired? Lu Lizao? Xiao Chen directly remembered the owner of this voice. It was actually the red-haired Lu Lizao. However, didn't he follow you Xiaochuan? Why did it seem like he was related to the Japanese? Just as Xiao Chen was puzzled, the person named Maeda-kun spoke. He laughed proudly and said, good, very good. Lizao-kun, you did a good job. Student girl, I like it. Red-haired is quite familiar with this, but why does this chick look so familiar? The person who spoke was actually Medicine Master Sunday. Xiao Chen immediately recognized his voice. Medicine Master Sun, isn't this chick Kerlin? Did you forget? Red-haired quickly explained. During this period, red-haired had left Yu Xiaochuan and turned to work for Sun Yukai. There was no other reason. In his opinion, Yu Xiaochuan was simply too King scary. He was neither a man nor a woman, and was eccentric. Red-haired felt uncomfortable seeing him, so he found an excuse to say that Sun Yukai was looking for him and left. As for Yu Xiaochuan, he was so busy with the engagement that he was dizzy. He didn't need red-haired at all. If he wanted to leave, then leave. He also gave the transgender Xiao Su to red-haired. Yu Xiaochuan also didn't tell red-haired the truth. He let him go back and continue playing. This disgusting thing was found by red-haired, so he also let red-haired be disgusted. Now, other than being busy with his own matters, Yu Xiaochuan wanted to get close to Hero White Fox. He had no time to bother with red-haired. So when red-haired wanted to leave, he didn't stop him. Chapter 399. However, red-hair didn't lie to Yu Xiaochuan. It just so happened that Medicine Master Sun had been talking to him about something recently. It seemed that he was colluding with a foreign force to deceive others. As a matter of fact, he had come into contact with the other party today. Oh. Kerlin. Good, very good. Medicine Master Sun hated Kerlin quite a bit. Back then, this girl was the fuse that caused the death of the Sun family. Now that she was given to Maeda-kun as a gift, it could be considered as making the best use of her. Maeda-kun, let's talk business first. After we're done, we can go have fun. The person who spoke had a voice that Xiao Chen was still very familiar with. It was actually Xie Chen from the Xie family. This made Xiao Chen a little confused. It wasn't surprising that Red Hair and Medicine Master Sun were together. After all, Red Hair had left the Sun family. It was normal for him to return. But Xie Chen, the Xie family should be enemies with the Sun family. Why did Xie Chen come over to join in the fun? From what he said, it seemed that he was a relatively important person here. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said that. Xie Chen, there's no hurry. I don't have time to have fun. The partner you introduced to me is not bad. He knows my thoughts. That's great. Maeda-kun said, I'll play with Miss Hua first, then we'll talk about business. Xie Chen, since Maeda-kun said so, let's have fun first. Medicine Master Sun said, let's pick a few ladies and have fun together. Red Hair, go and arrange it. Okay, Medicine Master Sun. Red Hair nodded and picked up the custom ladies album. As for Maeda-kun, he rubbed his hands and walked to Kerlin on the sofa. Xiao Chen originally wanted to hear what these people wanted to do together. Although it didn't seem to have much to do with him, he had a good relationship with the Xie family after all. As a member of the Xie family, Xie Chen mixed with the Sun family and the Islanders. He wouldn't believe that there was no conspiracy. However, he couldn't continue listening now. This Maeda-kun obviously wanted to deal with Kerlin first, so Xiao Chen had to make a move. However, what worried Xiao Chen was that he didn't wear the white fox mask. If he rushed in with Xiao Chen's identity, he could only kill them all. Although there was no problem with killing all these people, this was a nightclub after all. Furthermore, it was hard to say if there were any surveillance cameras in the private rooms. Xiao Chen was not sure if there were any martial artists inside. At least, the two women who were responsible for holding Lin just now, Xiaochen felt a murderous aura from them. They should be martial artists. Therefore, if he couldn't kill all these people at once, as long as one escaped, Xiaochen's identity would be exposed. What should I do? Xiaochen was suddenly in a dilemma. In the room, Maeda-kun's lewd laughter had already come out. If he was one step late, Lin would be in trouble. Forget it. Xiaochen gritted his teeth and transformed his face into Yang Tan's appearance. Although it could only last for a while, it was enough. No matter how Xiaochen thought about it, the only person he could think of who was strong enough for him to frame was Yang Tan. Brother Yang, don't blame me for offending people for you. Who asked you to find trouble with me on the first day of school? If you didn't find trouble with me today, I really couldn't pretend to be you. Bang! With a loud noise, Xiaochen kicked open the door of the room and rushed in. The people in the private room were startled by the sudden loud noise, especially Maeda-kun, who was about to pounce on Lin Kuo who was on the sofa. In the end, he was so frightened by the super loud noise behind him that he became impotent. He lost all desire and turned around to look at the situation at the door in a daze. Who are you? You don't want to live? Red Hair was, after all, a gangster. His reaction was even faster than those martial artists. He was very skilled at dealing with matters like this. He pointed at Yang Tan and scolded angrily, "You drank too much, didn't you? Do you know who I am?" Xiaochen ignored him and walked straight into the room. He kicked Maeda-kun and made him stagger. Then, he picked up Lin from the sofa. However, the two women who were holding Lin had already reacted. Each of them had a sharp sword pointed at Xiaochen. One of them said to Xiaochen coldly, "Put her down, and I'll leave your corpse intact. I'm on vacation and don't want to cause trouble. However, I like this girl." After saying that, Xiaochen walked toward the door without a care. "Do it." The woman who spoke gave the other woman a look and was about to intercept and kill Xiaochen. "Wait." However, Medicine Master Sun suddenly spoke. He waved his hand and stopped the two women. Then, he said, "Let him go." The two women were a little puzzled. However, this was the other party's territory, and Medicine Master Sun was a powerful person here. Since he said so, they had no reason not to listen. Xiaochen was also a little puzzled as to why Medicine Master Sun spoke for him at such a critical moment. Although the two women were almost at the 6th stage of inner force, and it was very easy for Xiaochen to deal with them, it was not so easy to deal with two of them at the same time. Moreover, Xiaochen did not want to kill people now. If no one died, then everything would be fine. If someone died, then they would definitely find Yang Tan. As long as they questioned Yang Tan and found out that he did not know Lin Kuo at all, or could provide an alibi, then things would become complicated. Although they might not necessarily suspect Xiaochen did not want to cause unnecessary trouble. He swaggered out of the private room, and no one stopped him. Xiaochen quickened his pace and entered the elevator. He was relieved. In the private room, Maeda-kun also got up from the ground and said angrily, "Medicine Master Sun, why didn't you let my bodyguards keep him?" "Your bodyguards couldn't keep him." Medicine Master Sun shook his head. The reason why he spoke up for Xiaochen was because he recognized Yang Tan's identity. Chen Huanling had been a hot topic in the warrior guild recently. He had offended Song Huawu and Xiao En's, so he was sent home on leave. These things were the gossip of the warrior guild after tea. However, Chen Huanling suddenly recognized an illegitimate son, and this illegitimate son turned out to be the patriarch of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C, Yang Jiannan. This matter also caused a stir in the entire Songning warrior guild. Medicine Master Sun naturally heard about it, and he specially looked up Yang Jiannan's information, so he had some impression of him. Previously, when Xiaochen broke in, he felt that Xiaochen looked familiar, but he did not recognize him. After all, he had only taken a look at Yang Jiannan's photo, and he had not seen him in person. However, later, when Xiao Chen said that he was on leave, Medicine Master Sun suddenly thought of Yang Jiannan. When he recalled, Yang Jiannan indeed matched the person in the photo. That was why he hurriedly stopped Maeda Kuen's 2 bodyguards, because they were no match for Yang Jiannan. What do you mean? Medicine Master Sun, do you mean that you know this person, and he has a great background? Maeda Kuen was not stupid, and he immediately understood Medicine Master Sun's hint. His name is Yang Jiannan, the leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C of the Warrior Management Department. I wonder if Maeda Kuen knows about this organization? Medicine Master Sun explained. Ah. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau? His expression suddenly changed. Although he was the chairman of the Sakura Entertainment Group, he had a secret mission, so when he heard about the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he immediately felt a little unnatural. His people had fought with the Supernatural Investigation Bureau several times, and in general, Maeda Kuen's side was at a disadvantage. It seems that Maeda Kuen knows about it, so let's forget about this matter. We can't afford to offend this person, Medicine Master Sun said. Okay, then I'll listen to Medicine Master Sun and forget about it. Maeda Kuen nodded. However, there are no more beautiful girls. I'm very bored. Let's drink. Red Hair and Xia Chen were a little speechless. They had just chosen a few good courtesans and were about to call them over to have fun. Who would have thought that Maeda Kuen would start drinking again? Xia Chen could not help but say, Maeda Kuen, your 2 subordinates are also rare beauties. Why don't, however, before Xia Chen could finish his words, a sharp sword was placed on his neck. He was so scared that he lost all desire and thought about nothing. Let's talk about it. What do you mean? Although these 2 are my bodyguards, they are from the group headquarters. Maeda Kuen explained. In fact, these 2 people were also sent by the higher-ups to monitor him. How dare he move? Oh. Xia Chen nodded quickly and said with a bitter face, okay. Let's drink. Let's drink. Only then did the sharp sword move away. Xia Chen heaved a sigh of relief. At the side, the red-haired man no longer dared to speak carelessly. He carefully raised his wine cup. Previously, he was still interested in the 2 beauties. He thought that after Maeda Kuen enjoyed himself on Lin Kuer's body, he could give his subordinates to play with. However, from the looks of it now, these 2 subordinates were not worth playing with. With Ker Lin, Xiao Chen could not go home. He hesitated and put her in the car. Xiao Chen went directly to Tang Tang's previous residence. Xiao Chen remembered that Tang Tang said before that she paid a year's rent for her house. Although she went home, the house was temporarily empty. Xiao Chen did not have a key, but he did not need a key to open the door. This girl seemed to be drugged. Although Xiao Chen could help her resolve it, he needed a temporary place to go. Xiao Chen wanted to leave the nightclub as soon as possible. It would not be good if Medicine Master Sun and the others followed him out. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen quickly started the car and went to the place where Tang Tang lived before. It was near the Morning Street, not too far from here. It was about a 10-minute drive. Xiao Chen heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that no one was following them in the rearview mirror. Chapter 400. With great familiarity, he arrived at the place where Tang Tang stayed. Xiao Chen used his yuan qi to open the door. He carried the unconscious Lin Kuer and placed her on Tang Tang's bed. After checking her condition, he put his hand on her wrist and ran the mantra. A stream of primordial qi quickly entered Ker Lin's body and quickly helped her dissolve the knockout powder in her body. Softly moaning, Lin Kuer slowly opened her eyes. However, her entire body was sore and powerless, and her mind was still a little muddled. Subconsciously, she felt as if she was lying on a bed, and in front of her was a tall figure, causing her to be instantly shocked. "Ah, what are you doing?" Lin's whole body trembled, and she almost woke up at this moment. She quickly hugged her arms and curled up on the bed. She was a little scared and didn't dare to look at Xiaofan. She felt so scared. Xiaofan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She only felt scared after being sold. Why was Lin always so careless? He couldn't help but say, "Lin, it's me." When Lin Ku'er heard the familiar voice, she finally lifted her head. Seeing that it was Xiaofan, she could not help but heave a sigh of relief. Although she felt that Xiaofan was an evil person who killed without batting an eyelid, he did not have any ill intentions towards her. Knowing that he couldn't harm her, and had instead helped her time and time again, Lin Ku'er's heart was filled with gratitude towards Xiaofan. It was just that Xiaofan's evil deeds caused her to not dare to have too much contact with him. But at least her mood calmed down. She glanced around and immediately found that it was Tang Tang's sister's house that she had been to before. The man who took her away from school was not here. "Xiaofan, why did you bring me here? You saved me?" "No, it was the man wearing the fox mask who saved you. He is my boss, and I took you from him." Xiaofan said, "You were sold to a nightclub, didn't you know? What did you do?" After listening to Xiaofan's words, Lin couldn't help but smile. "White fox, wasn't it Xiaofan? This guy lied in front of me, and I know everything." However, when thinking of this, Lin didn't dare to laugh, because the white fox was so cruel. If she knew the truth, would he kill her? Although Lin felt that Xiaofan was still very good to her, she was too timid. "What the hell is going on?" asked Xiaofan. That's. Lin saw that Xiaofan didn't see the smile in her eyes, and suddenly felt relieved. "The person in charge of the event, where I was the spokesperson, found me and said that he had something to talk to me about. I didn't guard against it, so I went to the car with him. I thought, after all, I took his bonus, and he wanted to talk to me about something, so I couldn't refuse. There were 2 other girls sitting in the car, so I didn't feel anything was wrong. But when I got into the car, I smelled a special smell, and then I didn't know anything." "Do you know who the person in charge was?" Xiaofan was a little disappointed. "That person was red hair. He always wanted to kidnap you, didn't you know?" It's him." Lin was suddenly shocked, and carefully recalled, "Wasn't it?" The 2 people looked similar, but one dressed very gently, and the other had red hair. It was normal that Lin didn't think of them as the same person. "Forget it. You should be careful in the future. Don't always trust others easily. Take out your guard against me, and you won't be in so much danger." Xiaofan glared at the little girl. I. Lin was a little embarrassed. "I'm sorry, Xiaofan. I misunderstood you a little before. Actually, I know that you are very good to me. It's good that you know." Xiaofan smiled. But, I really wasn't ready to be your lover." Lin summoned her courage and stuttered, "I think, the distance between us is too far. You don't understand my life." "I don't understand your life." Xiaofan was stunned by Lin's words. "Does this little girl still think that I want to find her as a little lover?" However, it was no wonder. In order to protect her, Xiaofan had declared his sovereignty several times in the school, so it was reasonable for Lin to misunderstand him. He couldn't help but have a wicked thought. "Why don't I understand your life? Don't forget that I also sold breakfast for a long time." Then Lin wanted to say, "I'm an ordinary girl. If I really get together with you, even if it's just as a lover, I will be scared to death every day. How could I experience fighting and killing every day? Thinking about it is too scary." "Okay, you go take a shower." Xiaofan waved his hand and said. Shower." Lin's eyes widened. What does Xiaofan mean? He wants to be with me now, but didn't I tell him? Did I say it in vain? She couldn't help but be a little nervous. Xiao Chen, although you helped me several times, you also helped my family, but I really wasn't ready, Anne. Pfft, what are you thinking? Xiao Chen looked at Lin Kuo's appearance and slapped his forehead. What I mean is, since you're fine now, go take a shower and rest to recover your strength. You're covered in the smell of smoke and you look haggard. When you get back, your mother will definitely ask you about it. You don't want her to worry, right? Ah, so it's like that. Lin Kuo instantly felt a little embarrassed. She pinched her fingers, pursed her lips, and said apologetically, I'm sorry, Xiao Chen, I misunderstood you. Well, go take a shower. It's getting late. Xiao Chen interrupted Ke Lin's words. Okay. Lin Kuo stood up and quickly ran in the direction of the washroom. Although Tang Tang's place was a little shabby, it had a temporary washroom that could heat up quickly. Lin Kuo's home wasn't much better than this place, so she wasn't picky. About 15 minutes later, Ke Lin came back dressed. She had just taken a hot shower. Her hair was still wet with water droplets hanging on it. Her little face was also red, which was very lovely. Ke Lin was the kind of girl from a humble family. She was a girl that people couldn't help but feel pity for. Xiao Chen helped her without thinking of anything in return. He just regarded it as a habit. Let's go. Turn on the heater in the car. The water stains will probably dry when you get home. Xiao Chen stood up and said. Well. Ke Lin found that Xiao Chen seemed to really help her, and there was no other purpose. This made Ke Lin's heart a little tangled. He was actually a good person. Although he often killed people, those who he killed were all evil people. She shouldn't be so afraid of him. The two went downstairs and got in the car. Xiao Chen only saw a flash as if someone was taking pictures. He turned around and saw a figure quickly disappeared in the corner. Xiao Chen furrowed his brows. He wanted to chase after her to find out what was going on, but when he considered that Lin Kuo was still by his side, he was afraid that it was a ploy to lure the tiger away from the mountain. Right now, even he was afraid. This Lin Kuo's luck was simply too bad. She was kidnapped every day, and when he was with her, he didn't even dare to leave her side. Therefore, Xiao Chen just let the person go. He didn't care. He started the car and drove in the direction of Shanty Town. Don't trust strangers so easily in the future. Xiao Chen said, if you are short of money, tell me. Don't participate in those activities. Oh. Ke Lin thought, how do I tell you? If I want your money, isn't it equivalent to being supported by you? However, what Xiao Chen said was right. She had to learn to be smarter in the future. Don't trust people so easily. Otherwise, she would be cheated again. Fortunately, she met Xiao Chen this time. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, Xiao Chen was really strange. He even said that he was White Fox's underling. Ke Lin just thought about it secretly. She didn't dare to say it directly. She was afraid that Xiao Chen would kill her. The car came all the way to Shanty Town and stopped in front of Ke Lin's house. Xiao Chen said, you go ahead. I won't send you off. Ke Lin nodded and shook her head with a blush. What's wrong? Xiao Chen was slightly surprised. I want to go to the toilet. Ke Lin whispered. Then go ahead. I won't stop you from going to the toilet. Xiao Chen wondered. I don't dare to go. Ke Lin was a little embarrassed. You don't dare? Xiao Chen understood that the toilets in this shanty town were all outdoor toilets. There were no separate toilets in the residents' homes. At this moment, it was already late. It was reasonable for Ke Lin to not dare to go, so he said, where is it? I will take you there. I used to go to the side of the house with no one, but now that someone has moved in, I have to go to the big toilet over there. Lin said with a blush. Urinating and defecating everywhere isn't a good student. Xiaochen couldn't help but smile. Then. Lin blushed. I won't say anything to you next time. Xiaochen smiled and drove in the direction pointed by Lin. This was an off-road vehicle, so there was no problem in driving on the road of Shanty Town. Xiaochen stopped the car when he came to the side of the toilet. Can you wait for me here? Lin Kuer looked at the pitch-black toilet, and her heart trembled. She still trusted Xiaochen quite a bit now. He had saved her several times, and although he was a murderous demon, he was still very concerned about her. Okay. Xiaochen nodded and said, go ahead. I will wait here. If you are afraid, call me. I will talk to you. Lin's face was red. She suddenly realized that it would be good if she had such a boyfriend. What am I thinking? How can he be my boyfriend? He likes Tang Tang, Cheng Menjiang, and Shen Jingxian. Lin walked into the toilet and came to a squatting position. She just untied her pants, but inadvertently, she looked down and saw a pair of eyes looking at her under the squatting pit. Chapter 401. The moonlight outside the toilet shone in. It was a pale face. 2 eyes, lifeless and dull, with a lustful light. Lin Kuer screamed in shock and frantically ran out of the toilet. Xiaochen was also shocked. What did Lin scream? Did she step on *T or P? Lin was really scared to death. Was there such a scary thing? She thought that if she really took off her pants and squatted down, then there would be a face under her butt. This was simply too scary. What's wrong? Xiaochen hurriedly walked over. Coincidentally, Lin Kuer, who was walking towards him, threw herself into his arms. Xiaochen was a little inexplicable. Does this sister Lin like me? Did she create such an opportunity to flirt with me? But after thinking about it, this little girl seemed to be afraid of me, so I dispelled this idea. There's a pervert. Lin stuttered. Where is he? In the toilet? Xiaochen was stunned. He wanted to go in, but he suddenly thought of something. Are there other women inside? No more. Lin Kuer hurriedly said. Xiaochen rushed in, but there was no one in the toilet. Xiaochen frowned and quickly released his 6 senses. He used his divine sense to explore the surroundings of the toilet. He only found that a man came out of the men's toilet sneakily and ran away crazily. He ran away. This was the men's and women's toilets. The manure pit below was connected. If one didn't find it disgusting, he could run from below. This person obviously used this method to escape. However, Xiaochen was too lazy to chase. It was just a pervert. It was dark here. If he left, Lin, this timid girl, would be scared to death. Ran away? Did he do anything to you? Xiaochen shook his head and asked. No, I was just about to take off my pants. He was under the latrine pit, staring at me. Lin's voice sounded like she was about to cry. She had never seen such a horrible thing in her life. This was even scarier than watching Xiaochen kill people. So disgusting. Xiaochen said. This place was full of *T. This person was really powerful. No wonder he could escape from the bottom. Is it still convenient for you? Lin was about to suffocate. Just now, when she was sitting in Xiaochen's car, Xiaochen casually gave her a bottle of drink. She drank it, and in the end, then I'll wait for you outside, Xiaochen said. No. Don't. Lin didn't dare to stay here. Then You won't ask me to stare at you and admire your convenience like that person, will you? Xiaochen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You. Turn around. Don't look back. Lin said in a low voice. Oh, okay. Xiaochen decided to be a good person to the end. He turned around. Behind him, the sound of pants being undone and water dripping made people's imagination run wild. Of course, Xiaochen was experienced. Although he was a little tempted, he wouldn't peep at her in his hot-blooded state. He just stood there and didn't move. Lin Kuer's time to pee was still very long. A large bottle of juice had been drunk by her. Speaking of which, it was a little embarrassing. She had never drunk such delicious fruit juice before, so she accidentally drank too much. The juice in the car was bought by Li Shanning before. They were all high-end goods. However, Xiaochen didn't like them. The eldest lady, Jin Beibei, and Shen Jingxian were all from rich families. They wouldn't drink the drinks in the car for no reason. So there were still a lot left. All of a sudden, footsteps came from the door of the toilet, which made Xiaochen a little surprised. Could it be that pervert is back? It shouldn't be. Judging from the light footsteps, it should be a woman. Xiaochen thought and felt a headache. I'm in the women's toilet. Should I go out? But it was too late. That person had already walked in. Ah! Another scream rang out. The person who came in was startled by Xiaochen, but she was also startled by Xiaochen and Lin Kuer. Lin Kuer almost fell into the toilet. Halfway through her pee, she was so shocked that she stopped peeing. Who? Who are you? The light in the toilet was dimmer than outside. The girl who came in only saw a blurry figure standing in the toilet. It should be a man, so she was startled. Lu Shuangshuang? Xiaochen recognized her voice and knew that she was Lin's good friend, Lu Shuangshuang, who sold binoculars. You are? Lu Shuangshuang didn't expect this person to know her. At this time, Lin said, Shuangshuang, it's you. You really scared me to death. She breathed a sigh of relief and peed. Lu Shuangshuang turned around and saw Lin. She was a little surprised and stunned. Are you peeing here? Yes. Lin blushed immediately. How could Lu Shuangshuang talk like that? Xiaochen was still here. How could she say that she peed? You and him. Oh my God, is this your boyfriend? You brought your boyfriend to the toilet? Why are you so open-minded now? Could it be that you and him? Lu Shuangshuang's questions came out like a machine gun. Lin was a little anxious. I didn't. There was a pervert in the toilet just now, so I asked him to accompany me. Pervert? I think he's the pervert, right? Lu Shuangshuang chuckled and then said to Xiaochen, I say, Kuer's boyfriend, I'm going to pee too. You should leave for a while. Your girlfriend isn't the only one here. Xiaochen smiled awkwardly. He didn't explain. He shook his head and walked out of the toilet. He didn't expect Lu Shuangshuang to coincidentally appear here. If he had known, he would have asked Lin to hold it in for a while and wait for Lu Shuangshuang to come. Lu Shuangshuang squatted beside Lin and smiled at her. When did you get a boyfriend? Why didn't I know? You did a good job keeping it a secret. If I didn't catch you, I guess you would still be hiding it, right? He's not my boyfriend. There really was a pervert just now. Lin quickly explained. Come on, I've been using the toilet here for more than 10 years, and I've never seen a pervert. Where is the pervert? Come out and let me beat you up. Lu Shuangshuang said with a smile. Shuangshuang, when have I ever lied to you? There really is. Lin Kuer was a little anxious. Moreover, you also know him. We've met before. It was at Temple Fair Street. You went to purchase the binoculars. He's the one who called Hero White Fox. It's him. Lu Shuangshuang thought for a moment and remembered Xiao Chen. Isn't he in cahoots with those women? How did he become your boyfriend? I already said, he's not. Lin explained helplessly. He just happened to send me home. I took a shower and my hair wasn't dry, so he drove me back. Shower? Your hair wasn't dry? You two went to get a room? Lu Shuangshuang's divergent thinking was very strong. She immediately realized that something was wrong. Lin realized that the more she explained, the more confused she became. She simply stopped explaining. Shuangshuang, you really misunderstood. AI. Okay, I got it. I won't tell anyone. Don't worry. Lu Shuangshuang smiled and looked like she understood. The car at the door is his? He's quite rich. A Land Rover. It's worth a few million. You're going to be rich soon. If you're rich, don't forget about me, your good sister. If he has money that he can't finish spending, share some with me. Lin was a little speechless. It really wasn't like that. Ha ha ha. Lu Shuangshuang laughed again. Let's not talk about it anymore. I'm leaving. You two continue. At this time, Lin also finished peeing. She pulled up her pants and left the toilet with Lu Shuangshuang. Lu Shuangshuang blinked at Xiao Chen. Handsome, your car is not bad. Next time I ask you to help me drive a car. Don't refuse me to show off. Ku'er and I are good sisters. Childhood friend, you have to have a good relationship with me. Otherwise, you know the consequences. I don't lack anything but money. He. Lu Shuangshuang. Lin was so angry that she stomped her feet. Okay. Let's not talk about it anymore. I'm leaving, bye-bye. Lu Shuangshuang skipped away. Lin was a little embarrassed. Xiao Chen, ignore her. She likes to talk nonsense, I know, but she's not a bad person. Xiao Chen nodded. He knew Lu Shuangshuang. She wasn't a bad person. She was just a little greedy. I'll send you back. Lin nodded and got into the car. After Xiao Chen sent her back to her house, he drove back to the nightclub. When he walked to the previous private room, Xiao Chen listened and found that there were continuous slapping sounds. He secretly thought that Zheng Xiaokuan's stamina was really good. He walked to the toilet and took a look at Medicine Master Sun's private room. Obviously, Medicine Master Sun's private room hadn't left yet. There were sounds of wine glasses clinking and the voices of Red Hair and Xia Chen urging people to drink. However, they were talking about some meaningless drinking orders. He couldn't hear any secrets. After listening for a while, Xiao Chen saw someone coming, so he left. At this time, Zheng Xiaokuan's side was just finished. Zheng Xiaokuan sent the two ladies out and saw Xiao Chen standing not far away. He immediately felt embarrassed. Xiao Chen. And, did you feel good? Xiao Chen smiled. I didn't expect this to be quite refreshing. Zheng Xiaokuan scratched his head. However, it's fine once or twice. I really can't stand this kind of prostitute. It's too. He. Xiao Chen said, let's go. It's getting late. As he said this, Xiao Chen called the waiter and asked him to swipe his card to pay the bill. This small amount of money was nothing to Xiao Chen, but Zheng Xiaokuan looked at the bill. Including the drinks, it was a total of nearly 20,000 yuan, which made him really speechless. Why are you so rich? You even sell fried dough sticks? Zheng Xiaokuan hesitated and asked. Chapter 402. At first, I was indeed short of money, but after a few car races with others, I had money. Xiaofan said. Later, I sold fried dough sticks just for Tang Tang. Yeah. Today is also a milestone in my heart. From tonight on, I am completely relieved. Zheng Xiaokuan said, tomorrow, I will attend Tang Tang's wedding, but I will bless her. It's just, AI, if she marries a good person, then it's fine. Yu Xiaochuan is the type that deserves a beating. I won't get up. You can tell me the situation at that time, said Xiaochen. Okay. Zheng Xiaokuan knew that Xiaochen must still like Tang Tang, so it was normal for him not to go. The relationship between Xiaochen and Tang Tang was different from that of Zheng Xiaokuan. Zheng Xiaokuan was at most a good friend. He and Tang Tang had never developed a deep relationship. But Xiaochen and Tang Tang were different. Zheng Xiaokuan could see that the relationship between the two was just a thin layer of window paper. So, normally speaking, Xiaochen was worse than him. After driving Zheng Xiaokuan back to the Zheng family, Xiaochen directly bought a few bento boxes on the way. It was too late to go back to cook. He didn't know if the young lady would complain. However, after returning, Cheng Menjing did not complain about Xiaochen. She just nodded to him. Xiaochen had sent a message to Cheng Menjing before, saying that Tang Tang would be engaged tomorrow. Zheng Xiaokuan asked him to drink, and the young lady readily agreed. How about it? Do you want to go to the wedding tomorrow? Cheng Menjing glanced at the bento that Xiaochen put on the table. She knew that he was in a bad mood and had no mood to cook, so she asked, I have an invitation here. Forget it. I won't go. You go, said Xiaochen. Well, then you continue to drink with Zheng Xiaokuan tomorrow. Cheng Menjing still had to go. As a daughter of the Cheng family, the first aristocratic family in Songning, it would be fine if they didn't invite her, but since they sent an invitation, she couldn't refuse. Yi Xiaoye came down to eat with them, but she was a little puzzled. Where did you buy this lunchbox? Why is it so delicious? It's almost the same as your cooking. Xiaochen, you didn't make it outside and bring it back, did you? Do you think I'm sick? Xiaochen asked. Yes. Yi Xiaoye nodded. Pfft, why? Xiaochen was somewhat speechless. Who wouldn't be sick to be her servant? Yi Xiaoye curled her lips and said disdainfully, you don't need to rely on her now, and you've acknowledged White Fox as your boss. Why are you afraid of her? Now that you have the White Fox, are you still afraid of the Cheng family? Yi Xiaoye, are you going to eat or not? If you don't want to eat, you don't have to. Today, Xiaochen bought the lunchbox. Logically speaking, he shouldn't give it to you. You can only eat it when you buy the ingredients. Now, it's equivalent to me rewarding you. Why are you so fussy? Cheng Menjing glared at her and said unhappily. You see, with her temper, I broke off the engagement with her. If I live with her for the rest of my life, I will be depressed to death. Yi Xiaoye said. It's none of your business. Cheng Menjing glared at Yi Xiaoye. Are you crazy? Why do you care so much? Oh. Yi Xiaoye didn't say anything more and buried her head in eating. Cheng Menjing also opened a lunchbox and ate with relish. She found that since moving out, these ordinary meals, things that she couldn't imagine before, such as instant noodles and lunchboxes, had become so delicious. However, were they really so delicious? It didn't seem so. None of the high-class dishes in the canteen were as delicious as Xiaochen's. For example, the fruits she had eaten in Jean Beibei's home were very delicious, but the food in Xiaochen's hands was even more delicious. After Yi Xiaoye finished eating, she went upstairs, leaving only Cheng Menjing and Xiaochen. Cheng Menjing glanced at Xiaochen and said, Did you go to drink with Zheng Xiaokuan? Yes. Xiaochen nodded. Does he also like you? Cheng Menjing could roughly see what was going on. A little. Xiao Chen nodded and didn't deny it. But because of his family, it's impossible for him to be with Tang Tang. Before Tang Tang returned, the Zheng family didn't think they were good enough for him. After Tang Tang returned to the Tang family, the Zheng family couldn't reach her. What about you? You and Tang Tang are a good match. You were both driven out of the family, and your engagement was broken off, Cheng Menjing said and suddenly paused. Huh, she went back to get engaged. Between us. Actually, if you don't want to, I'll talk to Uncle Cheng later. Xiao Chen said, I know love can't be forced. If you don't like me, I don't need to pester you. Cheng Menjing's face instantly turned a little pale, but she hid it well. Humph, it's good that you know that. I don't like you. It's just that the engagement was arranged by Uncle Xiaofan and my father. Even if I don't like you, I have to accept it. Xiao Chen shrugged and didn't say anything. He had never been able to figure out eldest Miss's mind. He didn't know what her attitude towards him was. Sometimes, he felt that she seemed to care about him very much, but sometimes, he felt that she was neither friendly nor distant. But now, he couldn't find out anything after probing for a bit. At night, Xiao Chen tossed and turned in bed. He wanted to find Yi Xiaoye to practice, but he couldn't lift his spirits. It was impossible to say that he really didn't care about Tang Tang and Yu Xiaochuan's engagement. Although Yu Xiaochuan didn't have that function anymore, after all, Tang Tang didn't know. She must be very uncomfortable and confused. After hesitating for a moment, Xiao Chen still dialed Tang Tang's phone number. He didn't expect that Tang Tang's phone was connected, which made him a little surprised. Hello, Xiao Chen. Tang Tang picked up the phone after a while. Obviously, her mood was also very complicated. Today was the last day she lived in her parents' house before she got married. According to the rules of aristocratic families, after the engagement party, even if they were not officially married, the man and the woman had to live together. If there were no accidents, Xiao Chen and Cheng Menjing would have held an engagement party after the end of high school. However, there was an accident in the third year of high school. Tang Tang's engagement party was obviously brought forward. Of course, it was also because of an accident. However, because of the engagement tomorrow, Tang Tang was also allowed to use her mobile phone. Today, she would call some friends who were close to her in high school and junior high school to tell them about her marriage. In fact, Tang Tang was also hesitating whether to call Xiao Chen and Zheng Xiaokuan. Before she made a decision, Xiao Chen called her first. Tang Tang, I heard that you are getting engaged to Yu Xiaochuan tomorrow. Xiao Chen sighed. Yes. Tang Tang responded, take care of yourself. I hope we can still be good friends in the future, although I won't have many opportunities to go out. I've said it before, I will bring you out of the Yu clan. Xiao Chen took a deep breath and said in a powerful voice. Xiao Chen, in fact, we are not children anymore. Tang Tang was slightly stunned, then she smiled and said, why are you still talking about this? Whether you act on impulse or say it to make me happy, it's not necessary. I know my fate, and I know that this kind of thing can't be changed. With our ability, we can't change the family's will at all. Just like you, your engagement was broken off and you were driven out of the family. It was against your will. If one day, you return to the Xiao family and get engaged to Cheng Menjing again, it is also against your will. I will do what I said, said Xiao Chen. Well, Xiao Chen, don't say those irrational words again. We are actually good buddies. If there is a chance, I will introduce my distant cousin to you. Tang Tang smiled. That cousin really exists? Asked Xiao Chen. Yes, she really exists. Tang Tang smiled, but she said in her heart, I just have no chance to introduce her to you. Well, see you tomorrow. Xiao Chen said, I won't bother you anymore. Tomorrow? Tang Tang was slightly stunned. You are coming too? Let's see. Xiao Chen said ambiguously, yes, Zheng Xiaokuan is going. Oh, okay. Tang Tang nodded and didn't ask Xiao Chen specifically. She also knew that Xiao Chen's heart was also uncomfortable, just like her, but she just pretended to be unaffected. After hanging up the phone, Xiao Chen calmed down his mood and secretly made a decision. Then he put on the Arctic fox mask and went upstairs. Yi Xiaoye was already accustomed to the arrival of the Arctic fox, but he came a little late today, so she was a little surprised. I thought you wouldn't come today. I was about to send you a message, but I didn't expect you to come. I was delayed by something. Let's start now. Xiao Chen didn't talk nonsense and directly prepared to take off his clothes. Let's start now. Yi Xiaoye nodded and also began to take off her clothes. In the Chen family, Yang Tan, also known as Yang Jiannan, was sitting at the head of the table, next to war god Chen. On the other side was his father, Chen Huanling. This was enough to show how high Yang Tan's status in the Chen family was. After 3 rounds of wine, Xiao En said, Brother Nan, it's my honor to be able to attend your family dinner today. I didn't expect you to come. Ens, you are also considered my subordinate. Your Warrior Guild Law Enforcement Hall often has business cooperation with the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, so you don't have to be so polite. I heard that you want to investigate the Arctic fox. That's no problem, just investigate directly. If you need any cooperation, just tell me and I will help you. Yang Jiannan said confidently. At this time, Xia Shibin walked into the dining room. Yang Jiannan glanced at him and nodded to him. Xia Shibin also sat down. As for what he was doing, Yang Jiannan didn't say, so the others naturally didn't ask. Thank you so much, Brother Nan. It's not a big deal. The main thing is, Brother Nan, help me analyze this matter. It's not impossible for me to get a conclusion from the investigation, but those people from the Warrior Guild will definitely doubt my ability. Chapter 403. Xiao En said, but if you want me to deal with that white fox and teach him a lesson, I don't dare. That white fox's strength is obvious. He's at the peak of Stage 8 inner force. Only you, Brother Nan, can handle him. Yang Jiannan was not stupid. He knew that Xiao En's wanted him to help, but it was not that easy. He would not meddle in other people's business. The white fox had nothing to do with him. Therefore, he smiled indifferently and said, I'm on vacation now, so it's not convenient for me to make a move. You also know that my current identity is only the eldest son of the Chen family. I know. But Brother Nan, I'm really in a difficult position. Can you help me come up with some ideas? From now on, I'll follow you. Jorge hinted. He wanted to recognize Yang Jiannan as his boss. The higher-ups of the Warrior Guild were not unfamiliar with this. If you wanted to be promoted, you had to have a backer. Even Yang Jiannan himself had a backer. Xiao En's backer in the Warrior Guild was his father. However, if he had a backer in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he would be like a fish in water in the future. After a moment of silence, Yang Jiannan felt that it wasn't bad to have a younger brother like Xiao En's. Hence, he said, I heard of something. Because Leng Youxiang from the Extreme Ice sect was killed by the White Fox, his junior brother, Chen Yuhan, wanted to challenge the White Fox. However, he couldn't find the White Fox. If you manage to capture the White Fox, take this opportunity to ask Chen Yuhan to come and challenge the White Fox. No matter the result, the Warrior Guild will recognize your ability. Especially the Colorful Li family, they will owe you a favor and know that you helped them deal with the White Fox. Oh? Really? Xiao En's eyes lit up. He slapped his thigh and said, Wonderful. This is wonderful. Brother Nan is the best. You found a way to deal with the White Fox. This way, the demonic sect will thank me, the Li family will thank me, and the warrior guild will think that I'm very capable. Follow me in the future. I'll teach you these tricks often. Yang Jiannan said faintly. When it came to playing tricks, he was quite good. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to smoothly become the team leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C. Many people had fought for this position back then. Then I will follow Brother Nan's lead from now on. Xiao En's hurriedly flattered. Chen Huanling sat at the side, his face flushed red. When this Xiao En's first saw him, he was arrogant, but now, he had become his son's little brother. This was too awesome, too awesome. Thinking of this, Chen Huanling said, Deacon Xiao, you have to support our Songning Warrior Guild in the future and fight for more benefits from the headquarters. That's for sure, Uncle Chen, I'm now following Brother Nan, so we're all family. You can call me Xiao Qiao or Ens, you don't have to call me Deacon Xiao, you're too polite. Xiao Ens said quickly. Oh, then I'll call you Nephew Qiao from now on. Chen Huanling nodded. Yang Jiannan looked at the scene in front of him coldly. Returning to the Chen family was just a springboard for him to pursue Song Huawu. In the end, he and Chen Huanling had no feelings for each other. They were just using each other. However, he didn't say much. He was happy to see that Xiao Ens was respectful to Chen Huanling because of his relationship with him. After the meal, both the host and the guest were happy. Xiao Ens left, and Yang Jiannan and Xia Shibin were also about to leave. The two of them didn't live in the Chen family, but under Song Huawu's apartment. Song Huawu's apartment was under the name of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Now that Song Huawu had moved in, even if Yang Jiannan was the team leader, it wouldn't be good for him to let her move out. Moreover, Yang Jiannan didn't want to do that at all. He didn't lack a place to live. He could live in the Chen family or in a hotel. However, he lived downstairs from Song Huawu. His purpose was to get close to Song Huawu. The apartment downstairs had been bought by someone many years ago. If it was the Yang Jiannan of the past, he would not have been able to buy this apartment. As the team leader of Team C, although he could receive some dirty money from the secular families, it was absolutely impossible for him to buy a luxurious apartment that was worth more than 3 million yuan. He still had to show his filial piety to his backer. But now it was different. With the Chen family's backing, it was easy and pleasant to buy this house. He directly spent 5 million yuan on the homeowner. The homeowner happily took the money and bought a bigger house in the community. He moved away on the same day. He didn't even want the newly renovated furniture and appliances. He just gave them to the new house. Yang Jiannan was a pervert. At this moment, he was standing in the bathroom, putting his ear to the drain and listening carefully. When he heard the sound of water coming from upstairs, he knew that Song Huawu was taking a shower. He untied his pants, took out his penis, held the drain, and started to masturbate. Nothing happened that night. The next morning, Xiaochen drove to the morning street first. He mainly wanted to see the place where he and Tang Tang had struggled. Lin's family had already set up their stall. They were busy. To Xiaochen's surprise, Lu Shuangshuang was also there. At this moment, Lin was washing spinach. Lu Shuangshuang had sharp eyes. She poked Lin's shoulder and whispered in her ear, your boyfriend is here. Ah. Lin was concentrating on washing spinach. She was startled by Lu Shuangshuang. She glared at her and looked up curiously. Then, she saw Xiaochen. She was slightly surprised. Why was Xiaochen here? It's okay. You go on with your work. I'm just looking around. Xiaochen smiled at her and nodded. Then, he turned around and left. Just when Lin wanted to ask him if he wanted to eat noodles, Xiaochen had already walked far away. However, Lu Shuangshuang teased, you said he's not your boyfriend. If he isn't, why did he come to see you so early in the morning before going to school? Does he have nothing better to do? Lin couldn't explain it clearly. She was also a little confused. What was Xiaochen doing here so early in the morning? An explanation is a cover-up. Lu Shuangshuang laughed. He really isn't. Lin blushed. She couldn't understand Lu Shuangshuang. When he went to school today, Zheng Xiaokuan was refreshed. Obviously, he had walked out of the shadow of her marriage. It was just a dream. After he figured it out, he understood that there was no possibility between them. Xiao Chen, good morning. Zheng Xiaokuan greeted Xiao Chen. Good morning. Xiao Chen nodded, but he saw Yang Tan sitting in his seat. He didn't know what he was talking about with Song Huawu. Xiao Chen walked over, knocked on the table, and said, "Student Yang, shouldn't you go back to your seat?" Yang Tan looked at Xiao Chen with some resentment. He really wanted to slap Xiao Chen to death from the window, but he really didn't dare to do so, at least not in public. He was very angry with Xiao Chen. This guy, you are a dog in the manger. Do you think Song Huawu will like you? You are a useless kid who was kicked out of your family. Even if you sit at the same table with Song Huawu for 10,000 years, you can't win her heart. I have something to talk to Song Huawu. Wait for a moment. Yang Tan took a deep breath and said to Xiao Chen. You can talk after school. This is school. Xiao Chen said lightly. You. Yang Tan was a little annoyed. Why is this kid so insensible? He winked at Xia Shibin. Xia Shibin immediately walked over and hugged Xiao Chen. He said to him, Buddy, let's find a place where there is no one to talk. Yang Group. Yang Tan, what are you doing? This is school. Song Huawu was a little anxious. She wasn't afraid that Xiao Chen would be at a disadvantage. She was afraid that Xiao Chen would beat Xia Shibin up again with his bad temper. Wouldn't that expose his identity? Today, Yang Jiannan found her. What he meant was that Xiao Ens was going to investigate the white fox. He asked Song Huawu to cooperate and not be a busybody. Song Huawu naturally argued, but Yang Jiannan used the reason of obeying orders to dispel Song Huawu's idea of continuing to fight. Therefore, she was going to remind Xiao Chen during class to not appear as the white fox. She didn't expect this to happen. If Xiao Chen really acted recklessly and beat Xia Shibin up, what should she do? Of course it's school. I know it's school. Yang Tan smiled slightly. Xiao Chen already knew the identity of Yang Tan and Xia Shibin, so he didn't resist. Instead, he wanted to see what they were going to do. Therefore, he walked with Xia Shibin to the door of the classroom where there was no one. Say it. What's the matter? Asked Xiao Chen faintly. Xiao Chen, right? Let me show you something. As Xia Shibin said this, he took out an ID from his pocket and handed it to Xiao Chen. What is this? Xiao Chen asked, student ID? Or a monthly bus ticket? Or a passport? Cafeteria meal card? I don't believe that you don't recognize it. Xia Shibin was a little annoyed. Open your dog eyes and see what this is. I'm sorry. I don't have a dog's organ on me. Do you have one? Xiao Chen smiled and said, then you help me take a look. Xia Shibin was furious, but he couldn't refute it. He could only say, I'm from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C. I believe you should have heard of it. Supernatural Investigation Bureau? What is that place? Xiao Chen was inexplicable. Is it investigating UFO and cosmic black holes? Does it look like a scientific institution? Xia Shibin looked at Xiao Chen and couldn't wait to beat him up. Originally, he thought that Xiao Chen came from the Xiao family, so he must know the existence of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. However, with his appearance, it seemed that he really didn't know. Xia Shibin could only say, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C is in charge of the families in the secular world, such as the Songning Xiao family. Chapter 404. Oh. Xiaochen nodded in realization. Do you understand now? So, you're giving us a favor? Xia Shibin saw Xiaochen's expression and thought that he was on the right track. What does that have to do with me? I'm not from an aristocratic family. Xiaochen said, I'm just an ordinary student in the school. You guys are too high-end. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not a martial artist either. You guys should manage what you can. You can't control me. You. Xia Shibin was immediately put out by Xiaochen's words, but he really couldn't do anything about it. It was true that he was from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and many martial artists and aristocratic families were afraid of them. However, Xiaochen wasn't a martial artist, and he wasn't from an aristocratic family. If he didn't care about him, he really couldn't do anything about it. Because he wasn't under his jurisdiction at all. Thinking of this, Xia Shibin wanted to say something, but he saw Xiaochen say lazily, "What's the matter?" "If there's nothing, I'm going back. Bye-bye." With that said, Xiaochen returned to the class. Then, he directly patted his table and said, "Yang Tan, are you done? Class is about to start. Are you going to violate the school rules? Privately occupying a classmate's property will be recorded. If it's serious, you will be expelled. You're ruthless. Wait and see." Yang Tan looked at Xiaochen coldly, stood up, and turned to leave. He knew that in this school, Xiaochen had the right to speak. Otherwise, why would the Shen family stand up for him? Therefore, Yang Tan really couldn't go too far. If he was expelled from the school because of this, where would he put his face? He was from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It was true that people had to give him face wherever he went, but if they didn't give him face, he couldn't do anything about it. After all, he wasn't doing official business, but private business. Song Huawu was a little puzzled. She looked at Yang Tan's black face and Xia Shibin's indignant and helpless face. She asked curiously, "What did Xia Shibin say to you?" "Nothing much." Xiaochen said, "He said that they are from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau and asked me to make things convenient for them." "What about you?" Song Huawu asked. "Ignore them. I'm not a member of the Xiao family, nor am I a martial artist. Why should I care about them? If they have the ability, can they beat me to death?" Xiaochen said indifferently. "Pfft. You're really a dead pig that doesn't fear boiling water." Song Huawu couldn't help but be amused. Then, she became a little worried. "Oh right, you don't say. Yang Jiannan is a little narrow-minded. If you embarrass him like this, he might really do something behind the scenes." "Oh, it's fine. Then let the white fox kill him secretly." Xiaochen said indifferently. "What?" Song Huawu was stunned. "Xiaochen, don't mess around. He's the leader of Team C of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and he's even more powerful than me, don't mess around." Song Huawu was shocked. "His strength is higher than yours, and his identity is there. That Xia Shibin is not a good person. I'm just kidding. As long as he doesn't provoke me, I'm too lazy to care about his business." Xiaochen said, "But looking at his perverted face, he's interested in you, right? He has been pursuing me, but I don't like him." Song Huawu said, "Feelings can't be forced. I don't have any feelings for him. Although he's my boss, I don't have any good feelings for him." "Then he's still pestering you. He's really shameless." Xiaochen said. "I heard that you used to pester Shen Jingxian." Song Huawu glanced at Xiaochen. "Who did you hear it from? Who started the rumor? Is it that Yang Tan?" "I guessed it was him." Xiaofan denied it again and again. He. Song Huawu smiled and didn't say anything. However, this kind of thing was hard to say. At least, Shen Jingxian was now White Fox's girlfriend. The previous things were no longer pestering. It could only be regarded as the process of pursuing. Yang Tan sat back in his seat and said to Xia Shibin with a cold face, "What's going on? Why didn't Xiaofan change seats with me? You didn't tell him?" "I did, Brother Yang, but that kid is stubborn. He said that he's not a martial artist, nor is he a member of an aristocratic family. He's not under our management. I can't do anything about him." Xia Shibin said helplessly. "Damn, he's really a difficult guy to deal with." "I got it. I'll think of other ways. If it doesn't work, I'll find a chance to frame him and get him out of the school." Yang Tan was furious. "That's fine, but we have to think about it in the long run. This kid's relationship in the school is definitely not weak. We have to have a strategy to deal with him." Xia Shibin said. You're right, but we can't do it ourselves. This is really a headache. Otherwise, if we send him to the hospital, there won't be so much trouble." Yang Tan had a headache. "Right, Brother Yang, why don't we ask the school bully to do it? We can't do it, but we can ask the school bully to send Xiaofan to the hospital. Then, it has nothing to do with us." Xia Shibin said as he rolled his eyes. Good idea. You ask around and find out who the school bully is in this school. Let him find a reason to mess with Xiaofan," Yang Tan instructed. After class, Xia Shibin went to ask around. After asking around, he found out that there were two ruthless people in the high school. One was Yu Xiaochuan. He was very influential in the school, but he didn't come to school these few days because he was researching about the engagement. The other was his classmate, Lu Zhenming. This person was the child of the secular Lu family. When he heard that he was from an aristocratic family, Xia Shibin was suddenly happy. Originally, he was afraid that the school bully wouldn't cooperate, but now, with his identity, it was impossible for Lu Zhenming to not listen to Lu Zhenming's orders. Thinking of this, Xia Shibin walked over to Lu Zhenming. Lu Zhenming had already found Xia Shibin an eyesore. Damn it, he actually dared to threaten his boss, Xiaofan. Lu Zhenming was wondering if he should stand up for Xia Shibin, but in the end, this brat came knocking on his door. "Lu Zhenming, right?" Xia Shibin looked at Lu Zhenming and said condescendingly. "Motherf **Ker, where did you come from? How dare you make a fuss in front of Brother Ming?" Ma Gangmen immediately stood up and stood in front of Xia Shibin like an iron tower. An ID was thrown on the table of Lu Zhenming. Xia Shibin didn't talk nonsense with Ma Gangmen at all. In his eyes, Ma Gangmen was just a small punk. He was too lazy to deal with him. His level was too low. What do you mean? Lu Zhenming picked up the ID with some doubts. When he glanced at it, his face changed. He was also a child of an aristocratic family. Naturally, he knew what kind of organization the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was, so he quickly waved to Ma Gangmen and said, "Gangmen, you step aside first. Let this brother sit down and talk." Ma Gangmen was stunned, but he still obediently stepped aside. Xia Shibin casually sat next to Lu Zhenming, put away the ID, and said faintly, "Lu Zhenming, since you know who I am, then cooperate with us to do one thing." "Is there any problem? What's the matter?" Lu Zhenming couldn't help but frown and ask. "I won't say those words. Let's be honest. Let Xiaofan leave this school. Can you do it?" Although Xia Shibin was asking Lu Zhenming, there was an unquestionable tone in his words. "Oh? Why?" Lu Zhenming was stunned. He thought in his heart, sure enough, he came with bad intentions. Why did this guy and Xiaofan have a conflict? However, Xiaofan was the boss that Lu Zhenming just recognized. It was impossible for him to betray him. After all, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was too far away. These people asked him to do something, but they might not be his own backer in the future. If he turned around and left, he would offend White Fox. He didn't want to do this kind of thing where the gains did not make up for the losses. However, he didn't dare to refuse outright. He could only think of countermeasures. Then he winked at the thin monkey-like man, coughed twice, and took out his mobile phone. The thin monkey-like man quietly understood, and then interrupted, "Brother Ming, who is this person? He is so arrogant. What is his identity? How dare he order you? Lu Zhenming, it seems that your underlings are not very obedient. They actually dare to question you. Your management is not very good." Xia Shibin said faintly, "Even if you tell them my identity, they won't know." Thin monkey-like man, this is Xia Shibin. He is a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C. They are responsible for managing the aristocratic families, so I have to listen to their words. Don't doubt them. Listen to Brother Xia first," said Lu Zhenming. Lu Zhenming, you are smart. I'll tell you the truth. Our leader Yang, who is Yang Tan, is the leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C. He likes Song Huawu and wants to change seats with Xiao Chen, but Xiao Chen doesn't want to. I don't care what method you use, just make Xiao Chen leave that position. Force him to drop out of school or send him to the hospital, it's up to you. What I want to see is the result, said Xia Shibin. Ugh, but Xiao Chen isn't easy to deal with. He also has a backer. Moreover, I don't dare to be rash in front of him. Lu Zhenming said, so I want to ask, is this official business? Can you give me an official letter? If there is anything in the future, I can say that I am doing it for you. Lu Zhenming, aren't you thinking too much? An official letter? Xia Shibin sneered and said, let me tell you. This is Brother Yang's private matter. I will say it now. You have to help, even if you don't want to help. Otherwise, you know the consequences. If you offend me, I will torture your Lu family to death. This. Lu Zhenming said with a bitter face, I will try my best, okay, that's all. I won't say anything else. Hurry up and settle it for me. Your Lu family is the last family. If you want to keep this position, you have to do it yourself. After Xia Shibin finished speaking, he turned around and left. Lu Zhenming looked at Xia Shibin's back as he left. A sneer flashed at the corner of his mouth. He asked Thin Monkey, did you record it? I recorded it. Thin Monkey nodded. Encrypt a copy and save it in the network disk. Then send a copy to my mobile phone. Lu Zhenming said coldly, how can I be controlled by him? He doesn't know what I used to do, right? I am the young master of the underworld. I am much better than him at playing with these sinister things. Chapter 405. If Lu Zhenming really had a reason to ask for his help, Lu Zhenming wouldn't be able to refuse. But now, he had this evidence in hand. Xia Shibin couldn't do anything to him. As long as he submitted the evidence to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, Xia Shibin would probably be punished internally and kicked out directly. Gangmen, go and let Xia Shibin listen to this on my phone. Lu Zhenming gave the phone to Ma Gangmen. Okay, Brother Ming. Ma Gangmen smiled and walked to Xia Shibin and Yang Tan with the phone. Xia Shibin didn't expect Ma Gangmen to follow him the moment he came back. He said with some doubts, you guys settled it? Did you find a plan to deal with Xiao Chen? Xia Shibin, right? Our brother Ming wants you to listen to this. As Ma Gangmen said this, he pressed the play button on the phone. The words that Xia Shibin had just said came out, which made Xia Shibin's face change immediately. What do you mean? Quickly delete it. Xia Shibin was a little angry. He glared at Ma Gangmen and shouted, "What do you want to do? Why should I listen to this? Oh, there's no point in deleting it. Brother Ming has already backed it up and handed it to a proper person for safekeeping. I just want you to listen to it. If you want to delete it, feel free." Ma Gangmen said with a blank expression. F***ck. Xia Shibin was furious. He knew what Lu Zhenming meant and what he wanted to do. This was a threat to make him give up using him to pay for Xiaochen. However, Xia Shibin really had to give up. In any case, he had to pinch his nose and admit it. Otherwise, if this paragraph of using official power for personal gain was passed to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he would definitely be fired. Even Brother Yang would be implicated. Thinking of this, Xia Shibin said helplessly, "Tell Lu Zhenming that this matter is over. Don't let him talk nonsense." "Okay." Ma Gangmen nodded and turned to leave. Yang Tan had been expressionless as if it had nothing to do with him. It was not until Ma Gangmen left that he was really angry. "Xia Shibin, what are you doing? You don't even know that someone recorded it? Why are you telling him so much?" If I didn't say that, Lu Zhenming might not have cooperated. Who knew that this kid was so sneaky? He actually recorded it. Xia Shibin's face was filled with bitterness. Too mean, this kid, forget it, there's no need to play tricks. I found that the students in this school are all smart. It's not easy to deal with them. Yang Tan frowned. He didn't expect that his identity as a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau could be very useful at times, but it could also be a hindrance at other times. If it wasn't for that, he would have kicked Xiaochen away. Why would there be so much trouble? Xiaoen's? Suddenly, Yang Tan thought of him. He couldn't make a move himself, but Xiaoen's shouldn't be a problem, and he wouldn't betray him like Lu Zhenming. This person was more reliable. But how was he supposed to deal with Xiaochen? He had to find a reason. Otherwise, if he asked him to attack Xiaochen for no reason, it would be equivalent to him owing him a favor. It would be difficult to return this favor in the future. Yang Tan knew that his position was very important to Xiaoen's. If he asked him to help in the future, he couldn't refuse. After settling Yang Tan and Xia Shibin, Lu Zhenming found Xiaochen. "Boss Xiaochen, Xia Shibin came to look for me just now." "Why did he look for you? To let you deal with me?" asked Xiaochen. How did you know?" Lu Zhenming was stunned. "What else could he be looking for you for? To let you beat me up until I change seats with him, or to kick me out of the school, right?" Xiaochen shrugged and said. Yes. That's amazing. Boss, don't worry. He doesn't dare to do it now. I scared him." Lu Zhenming had a strange smile on his face. "Oh? Scared him? What happened?" Xiaochen was stunned and asked. "It's like this. I recorded what he said to me. I will send a copy to Boss Xiaochen later. Listen to it." Lu Zhenming said, "If he threatens me again, I will directly send a report to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's mailbox. He will be crippled, and he will probably be kicked out of the school. That Yang Tan can forget about it." "You're ruthless." Sometimes, Xiaochen admired Lu Zhenming. Although this kid sometimes did some despicable things, he was still able to get things done. "Boss, I did a good job, right?" Lu Zhenming chuckled. "Not bad. Send me a copy." Xiaochen nodded. Song Huawu went out to the bathroom and saw Lu Zhenming talking to Xiaochen with a wretched face. She couldn't help but be stunned. "What are you talking about? Let me go in first." Xiaochen stood up and let Song Huawu go to her seat. Then Lu Zhenming also went back and sent a recording to Xiaochen. "Nothing. Xia Shibin asked him to deal with me, but he refused. Now Xia Shibin wants to use all kinds of tricks, said Xiao Chen. Don't offend him too much. Song Huawu reminded him. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Xiao Chen nodded. In the evening, Cheng Menjing and Jin Beibei went to the engagement party of Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang. Lu Zhenming and Zheng Xiaokuan also went. Yang Tan chased Song Huawu out of the classroom and kept talking to her. But Song Huawu didn't pay attention to him. Xiao Chen drove the car and arrived at the Yu family's house. The gate of the Yu family's house was decorated with lanterns and streamers. It was the wedding day of the Yu family's young master. There was a happy atmosphere. The gate was full of people and parked luxury cars. They were all from various aristocratic families and some celebrities. However, Xiao Chen didn't intend to attend the wedding party with his original identity. It would only humiliate himself. He was not that crazy. He knew that he would be ridiculed if he went there with his original identity, but he still forced himself to go there. In the car, Xiao Chen hesitated for a moment. He changed into the chef's suit, the couple's suit that Tang Tang gave him, and put on the white fox mask. Then he parked the car in a place far away and slowly walked to the Yu family's house. Please show me your invitation. At the gate of the Yu family's house, Xiao Chen was stopped by a servant of the Yu family, who asked him for an invitation to the wedding party. However, how could Xiao Chen have that thing? He just glanced at the disciple and said, "Where is Yu Xiaochuan? Let him pick me up." Ha ha ha, I say, buddy, don't joke. You are so arrogant. How can Yu Xiaochuan have time to see you? You are here to eat and drink, aren't you? And you are wearing a mask. Why? Don't you want people to know who you are? The servant suddenly sneered. There were too many people who came to the wedding party to eat and drink, and he had seen many of them. So he directly thought that Xiao Chen was such a person. The servant's words suddenly attracted some people's attention, but there was no lack of people here who knew White Fox, and suddenly they were shocked. Yu Xiaochuan was in the wedding hall in the courtyard to welcome important guests. At this time, a person who was familiar with the Yu family and happened to hear about White Fox ran over and shouted, "Young Master Xiaochuan, bad news, Master White Fox, Master White Fox. What's wrong with Master White Fox?" When Yu Xiaochuan heard about White Fox, his eyes suddenly lit up. He left the guest who was talking beside him and turned his head. It seems that Master White Fox was stopped by the guard servant. The man said, "What?" Yu Xiaochuan jumped in fright, and hurriedly ran towards the main entrance. When he arrived at the entrance, he saw his family's servant laughing at the White Fox. He immediately flew into a rage, jumped over, and slapped the servant, causing him to stagger. He said to Xiao Chen in a flattering manner, "White Fox hero, you actually came to attend my wedding banquet? You really give me face. Please come in, come in. It's not his fault, so don't punish him." Xiao Chen pointed to the disciple on the ground. Although this person was a little indiscriminate, he didn't do anything wrong. Xiao Chen was too lazy to argue with this kind of person. Okay. Yu Xiaochuan originally wanted to ask the disciple to get lost, but after hearing Xiao Chen's words, he said to him, "Get up, quickly thank Master White Fox. He's a magnanimous person." "Thank you, Master White Fox." The disciple who was hit on the ground quickly got up and carefully apologized. Xiao Chen was politely invited in by Yu Xiaochuan. As he walked, he said, "Master White Fox, I didn't know that you would do me the honor. If I knew, I would have sent you an invitation. But then again, I don't know where you are, so I can't send it to you, all right." Xiao Chen waved his hand, "I'm just here to take a look. The bride is very beautiful." Hee, yes. In a while, Master White Fox, you will know when you see her. She's even more beautiful today. Yu Xiaochuan squeezed his hand and said, "However, Master White Fox, do you think I'm beautiful today?" Ugh, am I handsome? You're not bad either. Xiao Chen listened to Yu Xiaochuan's effeminate words, and he had goosebumps all over. Ha ha ha. Yu Xiaochuan immediately became happy. He walked into the banquet hall with Xiao Chen and arranged for Xiao Chen to sit in the VIP seat in the front row. Then, he said, I'm sorry, Master White Fox. I really have to welcome others, so I can't accompany you. You see, you can only sit here for a while. Okay, go ahead. Xiao Chen waved his hand. It was very stressful to be with this effeminate person. Yu Xiaochuan went back to welcome the guests, but Xiao Chen felt that there were a few gazes focused on him. In fact, he didn't need to look to know who it was. When he walked into the banquet hall, he actually saw Shen Jingxian, Miss Su, and Jean Beibei sitting in the banquet hall. They had already arrived. Zheng Xiaokuan, Lu Zhenming, and Zhu Yingxiong and Yu Shanshan, who were not far from Xiao Chen, were also looking at Xiao Chen at this moment. Jingxian, your boyfriend is here. Don't you want to sit with him? Cheng Menjing asked. Shen Jingxian glanced at Xiao Chen's direction and felt a little sad. She knew Xiao Chen's feelings for Tang Tang and why he came today, so she didn't want to disturb him. She just said, oh, no. I don't want to see him these days. Chapter 406. Fine. Cheng Menjing knew that Shen Jingxian and White Fox were quarreling, so she didn't say much. But Jean Beibei stared at Xiao Chen without blinking. After a while, she said, Cousin Menjing, do you think Yu Xiaochuan likes White Fox? Puff, ahem. Beibei, what are you talking about? Cheng Menjing was stunned. She thought Jean Beibei had a strong taste. As a woman, Shen Jingxian really felt that Yu Xiaochuan had an indescribable feeling for Xiao Chen just now. Of course, she wasn't sure. After all, Yu Xiaochuan was a man. After a short while, more and more people came to the banquet. However, many of them also saw swordsman White Fox sitting in the VIP seats. At this moment, they were all talking about him. They didn't understand why the man of the hour in the righteous and demonic summit a few days ago would appear here. Could it be that he had a good relationship with the Yu family? They had never heard of swordsman White Fox appearing in any banquet before. However, they were just guessing. No one dared to ask why swordsman White Fox was here. Lu Zhenming wanted to flatter him, but he didn't dare to step forward. Zheng Xiaokuan didn't dare to talk to him either. Soon, the engagement ceremony officially began. Of course, the engagement ceremony was not as complicated as the wedding ceremony. After the host introduced the guests, Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang walked out from the backstage with a glass of wine in their hands to thank the guests. On the stage, Yu Xiaochuan listened to the host's words of bliss. He was not interested in Tang Tang at all. He just wanted to be polite on the stage. However, just as he was speaking, there was a sudden commotion below the stage. A person hurriedly walked into the banquet hall. Behind him, there were two similarly hurried men in black. Once they entered the banquet hall, they went straight to the VIP seats. To be able to strut into the banquet hall with such great fanfare after the wedding banquet had begun, they were definitely not ordinary people. Otherwise, the Yu clan would not have let them in. Although the Yu clan wasn't as powerful as the Cheng family in Songning County, they weren't weak either. Especially the branch of the Yu clan, which was an upright clan, no one dared to cause trouble on such an occasion. However, these three people had come in without any scruples. Everyone's eyes were focused on the three of them. They wanted to see what they were here for. They automatically ignored the host's words. However, the host did not stop. He continued to say the auspicious words. However, Yu Xiaochuan's expression did not look too good. The three people were walking towards none other than the great White Fox. Who are the three of you? What was he going to do? You actually dare to cause trouble at my Yu clan's wedding banquet? Yu Xiaochuan was furious. He pointed at the three people and shouted. However, the three of them completely ignored Yu Xiaochuan. Instead, they directly walked up to Xiao Chen and said, "White Fox, right? I'm from the Law Enforcement Hall of the Warrior Guild. Come with us." The one who spoke was Xiao En's. He was arrogantly looking down at Xiao Chen and said coldly, "Who do you think you are?" Xiao Chen glanced at the person in front of him and said coldly, "Stay at the side. Don't block my view of the wedding." "You." Xiao En's didn't expect Xiao Chen to be so arrogant. After hearing that he was from the Law Enforcement Hall of the Warrior Guild, not only was he not afraid, but his legs were also trembling. He actually dared to talk to him like this. Was he fearless because he didn't know, or did he really have something to rely on? "What about me? Do you have something to say?" Xiao Chen said, "If you have something to say, then say it. If not, then get lost. White Fox, you're very good. Do you know that you've committed a crime? I've been ordered to bring you back for investigation." Xiao En's pointed at Xiao Chen and said angrily, "Do you really think that you're a piece of shit?" Xiao Chen had naturally heard about Xiao En's from Hongzhu and Songhuawu. However, didn't this guy keep quiet before? Why was he egging him on again? Of course, Xiao Chen had even dared to kill Li Shanying and Leng Youxiang. Naturally, he wouldn't be afraid of him. Moreover, Xiao Chen had killed these two people without any reason. He didn't violate the rules at all. Even if Xiao En's wanted to make things difficult for him, he couldn't do anything if he didn't cooperate. "You? How can you say that?" Xiao En's pointed at Xiao Chen, his anger soaring to the heavens. "Can't you understand human language? Are you going to get lost yourself, or do you want me to send you out?" Xiao Chen looked at Xiao En's and stood up to send him out. "Fine, just you wait." Xiao En's took a deep breath. In his heart, he was a little afraid of Xiao Chen's strength. This was a martial artist at the peak of the 8th stage of inner strength. He didn't have the confidence to forcibly take him away. His own strength wasn't as high as the White Fox's. If he forcefully made a move here, he was afraid that he would be the one injured. At that time, he wouldn't be in the right, and the loss would outweigh the gain. Thinking of this, although Xiao En's was annoyed, he decided to endure for the time being. This guy was too arrogant. Did he think that no one could deal with him? When Chen Yuhan came, he would see how he would die. "I'll let you go for now, but when the time comes, I'll teach you a lesson." Originally, Xiao En's intention was to control the White Fox first. When Chen Yuhan came, it would be easy to find him and directly make a move. If he didn't control him, what if the White Fox ran away? But now it seemed that this White Fox was extremely arrogant. He openly participated in all kinds of activities without any taboo. Since that was the case, then that was good. He wasn't afraid that he would run away. When the time came, he would directly let Chen Yuhan kill him. After that, Xiao En's dejectedly left the wedding banquet with his two subordinates. It could be said that he came in a hurry and left in a hurry. His wish was in vain. Yu Xiaochuan secretly thought that he was so cool. In an instant, he regained his previous excitement. The wedding continued, everyone present saw this farce, but no one dared to say anything. No one dared to laugh at anything. They couldn't afford to offend the White Fox, nor could they afford to offend the Warrior Guild's Xiao En's. However, these people secretly felt that the White Fox was really too awesome. With just a few words, he made the people from the Warrior Guild give up. Could it be that he wasn't afraid of being blacklisted by the Warrior Guild? One had to know that when the time came, the Warrior Guild would tell the Hong Consortium that they wouldn't sell anything and resources to the White Fox. What would he do in the future? However, thinking about it again, Hongzhu and Song Huawu both supported the White Fox. Although they didn't know Hongzhu's position in the Hong Consortium, he was able to represent the Hong Consortium to participate in the summit. Moreover, As a referee, his position was probably not low. It was really not possible to blacklist the white fox. You only know how to act cool. Shen Jingxian curled her lips. She felt that Xiaochen shouldn't offend people like this. How many people had he offended now? Although he was very powerful, he shouldn't be like this, right? Who knew if these people had powerful backers? If they found a powerful master, how could Xiaochen be a match for them? Unconsciously, Shen Jingxian couldn't help but worry about him. Although she was a little angry at Xiaochen for lying to her, no matter what, he was the first person she fell in love with, the first person who had her body, and the person who was recognized by the Shen family. Her relationship with him was already inseparable. However, no matter what, Shen Jingxian didn't want Xiaochen to lie to her. Even if he said that he had a relationship with Yi Xiaoya and Tang Tang, as long as he was honest, she believed that she wasn't that unreasonable. What about Xiaochen? He was very close to Yi Xiaoya, but he told her that there was nothing between them. It was fine if Shen Jingmao said it, but Shen Jingxian saw it with her own eyes. How could it be false? I think he's quite handsome. If Sister Jingxian doesn't want him, just give him to Beibei. Jean Beibei said with a smile. Give him to you? Don't you like Xiaochen? Why do you like this white fox? Cheng Menjing kicked Jean Beibei. Why is this girl so fickle? It's almost the same. Jean Beibei said. What's almost the same? Far from it. Cheng Menjing said, don't get involved. Shen Jingshuan's heart skipped a beat. She had a feeling that Jean Beibei seemed to have discovered something. Every time she spoke, she seemed to be pointing at something. Although she found out later that it wasn't the case, Shen Jingxian still suspected that Jean Beibei did it on purpose. Even if she suspected it, it was not appropriate for her to ask, because there was no way to ask. On the stage, Tang Tang glanced at the white fox. She knew this person. She had been talking to Yu Xiaochuan for a long time. Most of the topics she and Yu Xiaochuan talked about were about this white fox. Why is this white fox so handsome and powerful? Tang Tang was a little puzzled. Why do you always talk about me? At the same time, Tang Tang had a very bad impression of this white fox. What was so good about this person? Yu Xiaochuan kept talking about her all day long. She didn't want to talk to Yu Xiaochuan, but who would have thought that Yu Xiaochuan would talk to her non-stop every day, instilling in her the idea that this person was very good and that she should marry him instead of him. Therefore, Tang Tang was speechless. Was Yu Xiaochuan insane recently? Did he let his fiancée fall in love with another man? Was he testing her, or was he out of his mind? But anyway, this made Tang Tang hate Yu Xiaochuan and the white fox even more. Finally, the engagement ceremony was over. Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang toasted the guests present. From the VIP seats at the beginning to the seats at the back, Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang toasted to every table. Originally, only the elders would toast alone. But when it came to the white fox, Yu Xiaochuan deliberately paused and directly raised his cup. Hero White Fox, let me toast you. Xiaochen raised his cup, but his eyes were fixed on Tang Tang. Seeing that he was staring at Tang Tang, Yu Xiaochuan hurriedly said, Tang Tang, why don't you toast to Hero White Fox? Tang Tang frowned. She felt a little uncomfortable being stared at by the white fox. She was very disgusted and didn't want to toast. But under the watchful eyes of so many people, she couldn't make a scene. She could only pick up the cup symbolically and take a sip. Chapter 407. Xiaochen smiled slightly and drank a glass of wine. He said, Yu Xiaochuan, your fiancée is very beautiful. I like her very much, really. That's great. Yu Xiaochuan was delighted and said, White Fox Hero, don't leave later. Wait for me. Tang Tang almost poured the glass of wine directly on Yu Xiaochuan and White Fox's face. What dirty words are these two people talking about? White Fox likes me. And you Xiaochuan said it was great? What kind of thinking and logic is this? Tang Tang snorted and turned to leave. Yu Xiaochuan had no choice but to nod apologetically to Xiao Chen. Then, he turned to chase after Tang Tang and continued to toast to others. Xiao Chen sat on the side of the VIP seats, so not many people heard the conversation between him and Yu Xiaochuan. Only Zhu Yingxiong and Yu Shanshan, who were closest to him, heard it. Ordinary people didn't dare to sit next to Xiao Chen. Who dared to get close to White Fox Hero? However, Zhu Yingxiong knew that White Fox was Xiao Chen, so he didn't avoid it. He stopped the conversation between Xiao Chen and Yu Xiaochuan, and he almost burst out laughing. It seems that Yu Xiaochuan intends to give Tang Tang to boss Xiao Chen. In that case, Tang Tang is still my sister-in-law, but the meaning is slightly different. Hero, do you think there's something wrong with my brother recently? Why does he speak so strangely? Also, why is that White Fox Hero so shameless? He actually said that he likes my sister-in-law. Yu Shanshan said with a frown. I think your brother is right. Maybe he doesn't like Tang Tang, but because of his family, he was forced to get engaged. He may have his own pursuits, so he would be happy to get rid of Tang Tang. Zhu Yingxiong said. Don't talk nonsense. How is that possible? Yu Shanshan said. Forget it. Let's not worry about it. It's fine as long as we are happy. It's too tiring to care so much. The marriage of a big family is full of filth. There are very few people like us who are in love with each other. Zhu Yingxiong laughed. Who's in love with you? I just think that you're okay, but you're different from the Prince Charming I imagined. You're too fat and not handsome. Yu Shanshan said. Haven't you heard that in this day and age, every fatty is a potential stock? Zhu Yingxiong chuckled. After 3 rounds of drinking, Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang also returned to the stage. The host joked loudly, the bride and groom will enter the bridal chamber together. Other guests, please feel free to do as you please. In other words, the host wouldn't interfere with whether they stayed or left. The guests could eat here for a while or leave directly. Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang went to their new house together. Although she had expected that this day would come, she still felt wronged and unwilling. If Yu Xiaochuan was someone she liked, it would have been fine. However, not only did she not like him, she hated him. Moreover, this person didn't seem to value her at all. He didn't love her either. Tang Tang could feel that Yu Xiaochuan was more perfunctory to her. Therefore, their marriage was bound to be a tragedy. Tang Tang was also a little puzzled. Before, when Yu Xiaochuan saw that she had changed back to her previous appearance, he was very tempted. He fought with Xiao Chen for her, openly and secretly. Finally, he started from the family and won the beauty. However, she didn't know when Yu Xiaochuan suddenly changed. He no longer said sweet words, nor did he take the initiative to get close to her. He didn't even mention anything about that aspect once. Although Tang Tang breathed a sigh of relief, she was more wary of Yu Xiaochuan. This person was crazy and not like a normal person at all. When entering the new house, Yu Xiaochuan took out his mobile phone and quickly sent a message. Then, he entered the house and said to Tang Tang with a smile, Tang Tang, we are now officially engaged. You are my wife. What do you want to say? Just say it. Tang Tang sat on the bed, crossed her arms and looked at Yu Xiaochuan coldly. Hey, don't be like this. Let's talk about it openly. Yu Xiaochuan said. Talk about what? Tang Tang asked. I can see that you don't like me at all. If you are with me for the rest of your life, are you willing? Yu Xiaochuan asked with a smile. What if I'm not willing? Will you break off the engagement with me? Tang Tang said with a frown. Of course, that's impossible. Yu Xiaochuan said, to tell you the truth, I don't like you, and I don't want to touch you. If you follow me for the rest of your life, can you bear the taste of loneliness for the rest of your life? You can't sleep alone without a man to comfort you. Can you stand it? You Xiaochuan, are you crazy? You don't touch me. Just as well, I don't want you to touch me either. Tang Tang's face was a little unsightly. She laughed at herself and thought, how weird is my fiancé to say these words on the wedding night? He doesn't want to touch me. Not interested in me. Tang Tang was a little puzzled. What were you doing earlier? Isn't it painful for both of us? If I don't like you, why are we still engaged? Wouldn't it be better to break off the engagement early? Of course, Tang Tang didn't know that Yu Xiaochuan had his own difficulties. He must be tied to Tang Fangbai. Therefore, the marriage between him and Tang Tang was inevitable, and Yu Xiaochuan couldn't choose it. Well, but think about it. Although you haven't really done it with Xiao Chen before, you should have played a lot of flirting, right? You used your mouth to help him, so he should also help you, right? Think about it, I can't do it with you. Do you want that kind of feeling? Yu Xiaochuan said patiently. Yu Xiaochuan, you're shameless. Don't slander me. If you have something to say, just say it. If not, I'm going to rest. Since you don't want to touch me, get lost. I don't want to see you. Tang Tang looked at Yu Xiaochuan with a sneer. She was a little angry. Don't get excited, Tang Tang. I actually have a solution to this. Yu Xiaochuan said, as long as you want, I won't stop you from doing it with others, but you can only do it with the person I designate. Get lost. Yu Xiaochuan, get out of here. Tang Tang was really angry. It was the first time in her life that she had seen such a shameless person. Was this Yu Xiaochuan, a gentleman? He was even more shameless than a villain. He was even shameless enough to break the world record. Hee, that's not up to you. Yu Xiaochuan sneered, it doesn't matter if you agree or not. I've decided. If you don't want to have a scandal, be obedient. Otherwise, hee. Otherwise what? Tang Tang glared at Yu Xiaochuan. The person who wants to do it with you has a lot of power and strength. Although I can't kill Xiao Chen, if he wants to kill Xiao Chen, it's as easy as turning over his hand. You decide for yourself. If you anger this person, you know the consequences. Yu Xiaochuan threatened bluntly. You're shameless. Tang Tang was anxious, shocked and angry. Xiao Chen received a text message from Yu Xiaochuan. He stood up and followed the direction provided by Yu Xiaochuan. He looked in the Yu's house and found a new house decorated with lanterns and streamers. He heard the quarrel between Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang inside. He couldn't help but be stunned. He then pushed the door and walked in. Ah, White Fox Hero, you're here. When Yu Xiaochuan saw Xiao Chen come in, his eyes lit up. He said with some flattery, please sit down, please sit down. Tang Tang looked at the White Fox Hero who came in and faintly understood something. She also understood what Yu Xiaochuan said before. During this period of time, Yu Xiaochuan kept instilling in her how excellent the White Fox Hero was. Then, when the White Fox Hero toasted tonight, all of these showed that the person who took a fancy to her was the White Fox Hero. Although the White Fox Hero was indeed very powerful and many people were in awe of him, she was a woman. She didn't have high aspirations. She didn't want to think about those family matters and those things about strength. What she wanted was to be with the person she liked. Even if it was impossible, she would like to silently like him and silently bless him. But Yu Xiaochuan actually wanted to give her to another man to play with. This was something that Tang Tang couldn't agree to. She had no choice but to marry Yu Xiaochuan. But if she followed Yu Xiaochuan's wishes, would she still have any dignity? Would she still be herself? Xiao Chen nodded and looked at Tang Tang, whose eyes were flickering. He sighed, but he couldn't explain much, at least not when Yu Xiaochuan was present. Well, what's the matter? Xiaochen asked. Huh, White Fox hero, don't you like me? Tonight, this new house is prepared for you. You can slowly enjoy and savor me here. What do you think? Am I thoughtful? Yu Xiaochuan looked at Xiaochen and said. Xiaochen nodded. Although it seemed a bit shameless to do so, it was better for Yu Xiaochuan to give Tang Tang to him than to give her to someone else. So he nodded and said, You're very good. I'm very satisfied, but I'm a clean freak. Others shouldn't touch what I've touched. Don't worry, it won't happen. I'll help you keep an eye on her and don't let her contact other men. Especially that Xiaochen. Yu Xiaochuan said quickly. So now you. Xiaochen glanced at Yu Xiaochuan. I'm leaving now. The night is long. White Fox hero, enjoy yourself. Yu Xiaochuan quickly said, I'll go somewhere else. Don't worry, I've arranged everything. You can rest assured that I got the approval of Tang Tang's grandfather, Tang Fangbai. There won't be any mistakes. Don't worry and play boldly. No one will dare to say anything. Xiaochen was stunned. He didn't expect that even Tang Tang's grandfather agreed. How did Yu Xiaochuan do it? This guy really has some ability, but these were not what Xiaochen needed to think about. He just said, okay, but I don't want anyone to eavesdrop. Don't let anyone near the villa. That's for sure. I don't want anyone eavesdropping. Yu Xiaochuan nodded. He liked White Fox hero. How could he let other men come and eavesdrop? Chapter 408. Tang Tang's eyes were full of despair. She never thought that Yu Xiaochuan was filthy, but her grandpa was as filthy as him. Tang Tang had wanted to tell the Tang family about Yu Xiaochuan's beastly behavior and break off the engagement with the Yu family. After all, marrying Yu Xiaochuan and Yu Xiaochuan using her to please other men were two different concepts. She believed that the Tang family could not afford to lose face. If she told her grandpa, how could he let it happen? But now? Her grandpa, who looked so upright, was actually in cahoots with Yu Xiaochuan. Tang Tang suddenly realized that she could not understand the thinking of these families in this world. Could it be that in order to curry favor with a powerful person, one could be shameless to this extent? Yu Xiaochuan turned and left after he finished speaking. He closed the door of the villa for Xiaochen and sighed in his heart. How he wished he was Tang Tang. However, he also knew that if he really expressed his intentions, Xiaochen would definitely be scared to death by him. At that time, there was a possibility that Xiaochen would ignore him. Therefore, Yu Xiaochuan temporarily kept this love in his heart. No one could understand his difficulties. He felt that he was an anomaly in this world, and there was no way to solve it. White Fox hero's orientation was very normal. He could not change anything. He could only watch silently. As long as he was happy, Yu Xiaochuan would be satisfied. In the new villa, Tang Tang looked at the man in front of her with some horror. This man was pursued and praised by many people. This man stood under thousands of halos. Even the law enforcement hall of the warrior guild did not care about him. However, Tang Tang did not admire or like him at all. She did not like him. No matter how good he was not the person she loved. She only liked Xiaochen. She liked being with him, selling fried dough sticks every day, and going to school together. Unfortunately, the days were gone forever. And she also knew that Xiaochen was useless. He would not be recognized by the Xiao family again, and it was even more impossible for him to have anything with her. The marriage with the Yu family had become a foregone conclusion. After today, Tang Tang would no longer be free. However, she really did not expect that Yu Xiaochuan would be so disgusting. In order to please the man in front of her, he would give her to him. Was strength really that important to a clan? Tang Tang had long been accustomed to an ordinary life. She felt dirty when she returned to these big families. Originally, she would not be able to escape today. After all, although there were many rules in the big families, one could refuse to have sex before the official engagement. But after the engagement, Tang Tang would be a member of the Yu family. But now, what made her feel inconceivable was that her roommate was not Yu Xiaochuan, but a man named White Fox. Xiaochuan approached Tang Tang step by step and sat directly next to her. Tang Tang was so scared that her whole body was tense. She did not know what this person was going to do, but he did not speak or do anything for a long time. She was very puzzled. Xiaochuan was actually using his divine sense to probe the surroundings. He was relieved to find that no one was eavesdropping nearby. In fact, there wasn't even a single person nearby. Sitting together with Tang Tang, this was a feeling that Xiaochuan had not had for a long time. He did not feel anything when he was in school, but he had not seen her for a long time. Sitting together again made Xiaochuan's heart beat faster. Finally, he still got it. Although the process of getting it was not very glorious, Xiaochuan did not break his promise. What he said must be fulfilled. The feeling of sitting with you is really good. Xiaochuan said faintly with some fascination. Tang Tang had goosebumps all over her body. Isn't this White Fox too disgusting? Does he think that by saying a few nice words, I can change my impression of him? Although this dress is a little small, and I don't know where you bought it, I still prefer it, said Xiaochuan. Tang Tang thought that Xiaochuan was talking about the sexy cheongsam she was wearing. This dress was prepared by the Yu family, not bought by her. Moreover, her breasts were about to burst. She didn't like it at all. Showing the sexy and perfect figure made Tang Tang feel particularly awkward. In the past, when she was a fat girl, she wore those loose clothes. Now, she had recovered her figure and beauty, but she actually didn't like it. She just felt that this appearance was more worthy of Xiaochuan, but she didn't want to be appreciated by others, especially by this White Fox in front of her. I didn't buy it. I don't know. Tang Tang said coldly. It can't be, right? Isn't it a couple suit? Xiaochuan was stunned and asked. There is a couple suit in cheongsam? You mean Yu Xiaochuan? Tang Tang said coldly, what do you want to say? Don't talk to me about these meaningless words. What couple suit? Don't say so much. Don't you just want to have sex with me? Do you think I don't know? Xiaochuan was a little speechless. He pointed to the chef's suit on his body. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Then, he reached out to unbutton it and took off his clothes. You see, didn't you give yourself away? Did you take off your clothes? Don't you want to do that? But I tell you, if you want to do it, I will bite my tongue and commit suicide. Unless you knock me out, but if you have the ability, you can always knock me out. Tang Tang said. Tang Tang, you misunderstood. Look at this suit. Xiaochuan originally wanted to give Tang Tang a surprise, but he didn't expect that she directly regarded him as a class enemy. Her sarcasm made Xiaochuan's original intention to express not be expressed at all. What are you looking at? Why are you looking at your clothes? Tang Tang snorted, but when her eyes stayed on the white chef's suit in Xiaochuan's hand, she couldn't help but be slightly stunned. She was so familiar with this suit. It carried too many of her good memories. Before, she didn't even look at the White Fox. Naturally, she wouldn't pay attention to the clothes on his body. But now, when she looked at it carefully, she found that this suit looked like the chef's suit that she gave to Xiaochuan. Seeing that this suit was actually in the hands of the White Fox, Tang Tang's face couldn't help but change. How do you have this suit? Where did you get it? What did you do to Xiaochuan? Didn't you give me this suit? What can I do to Xiaochuan? I'm not a masochist. Xiaochuan said with a wry smile. N? Tang Tang was slightly stunned, and then her face became even more ugly. You? Who are you? What are you going to do? Xiaochen knew that it was not good to joke with Tang Tang anymore. It seemed that this would not only not give her a surprise, but it would also scare her. So, Xiaochen simply reached out and buckled the mask on his face and slowly took it off. Although Tang Tang wondered why the white fox would take off the mask and show his true face, she was afraid that it was inconvenient to wear a mask and be like her. Although she hated the white fox, she still glanced over. After all, even Yu Xiaochuan didn't know the true face of the white fox. Was she the first person to see it? However, when she looked over, Tang Tang's eyes couldn't move away. She widened her eyes and looked at the man in front of her incredulously. It's Xiaochen. It's actually Xiaochen. How can it be him? Tang Tang felt a little incredulous, and then she stood up in surprise. She rubbed her eyes to make sure that she was not dazzled, and then she said excitedly, Xiaochen. How can it be you? Why can't it be me? Xiaochen smiled bitterly and said, You didn't recognize me for a long time. I was so sad. I thought you had Yu Xiaochuan, so you forgot me. Pfft. Tang Tang glared at Xiaochen. What do you mean I forgot you? Aren't we good buddies? We even called last night. Good buddies? Xiaochen smiled. Are we really just good buddies? Didn't Yu Xiaochuan give you to me? Right. If Xiaochen didn't mention it, Tang Tang would be immersed in excitement and wouldn't think of it at once. But when Xiaochen said this, Tang Tang's face suddenly changed again. Aren't you too bold? You actually pretended to be White Fox. If the real White Fox knew about it, wouldn't he come to kill you? Tang Tang immediately thought that Xiaochen was a fake because she felt that the real White Fox was unlikely to give face and attend Yu Xiaochuan's wedding. After all, Yu Xiaochuan had been fawning on White Fox before, but White Fox didn't pay much attention to him. Moreover, Xiaochen told her yesterday that he would come to take her away, so she thought that it must be Xiaochen who took the risk out of desperation. It was nothing for him to deceive Yu Xiaochuan, but he pretended to be White Fox. With White Fox's ruthless character, wouldn't he want to kill Xiaochen directly to vent his anger? Why would he want to kill me? I am White Fox, and White Fox is me. I want to kill myself. I haven't lived enough. Xiaochen was stunned and understood that Tang Tang had misunderstood, so he immediately explained. Xiaochen, stop joking. You should leave quickly. I have never seen you before, and I don't know who you are. When the truth comes out, Yu Xiaochuan and White Fox won't suspect you. Tang Tang said nervously. Tang Tang, I am really White Fox. Xiaochen walked over, held her hand, and said solemnly. Okay, you are White Fox. Then can you leave now? Tang Tang said. Tang Tang, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you before. Xiaochen smiled bitterly and said, I am really White Fox, but at that time, I didn't want others to know my identity, and my strength wasn't enough to bear too much attention. What do you mean? Tang Tang looked at Xiaochen. The identity of White Fox, in fact, first appeared because I had just finished frying youtiao in the morning market street. I wore a white chef's suit and then bought a fox mask, so I was called White Fox. Xiaochen said, at first, I didn't think that I would have today's name. I don't know if you still remember when we were selling youtiao, someone said that the dog was lost. Chapter 409. Yes, I remember. Tang Tang nodded, but she still didn't quite believe it. The appearance of the White Fox was actually just to find a dog for that rich woman. Xiaochen said, this was the first task that the White Fox took. Later, I used the White Fox to register as a member of the Warrior Guild. Then, I started doing tasks and met my partner, Yi Baiya. She is from the Demon Star sect. As for me going to the Righteous and Demonic Songning Summit, it was Yi Baiya who asked me to go. Why does it sound so fantastic to me? Xiaochen, do you mean that you are really the white fox? Tang Tang felt it was incredible. Yes, I am really the white fox. Xiao Chen nodded affirmatively. Then, where did your strength come from? Aren't you a loser who can't cultivate? Tang Tang was very puzzled. In the monitoring room of the Yu family, Yu Xiaochuan was sitting in front of the monitor at the moment, staring at the scene on the monitor. Xiao Chen's divine sense could only detect whether there was anyone near the villa, but it couldn't detect whether there were surveillance and listening devices installed in the villa. Therefore, the scene that happened inside fell into Yu Xiaochuan's eyes. Yu Xiaochuan was very surprised. The white fox was actually Xiao Chen. He was extremely shocked. After listening to Tang Tang's words, he also suspected that Xiao Chen was pretending to be the white fox. However, he still continued to listen patiently. When Tang Tang asked this crucial question, Yu Xiaochuan also widened his eyes and stretched his ears. Actually, I can't be considered to be able to cultivate now. I don't belong to the martial cultivator nor the demonic cultivator, but I am somewhat similar to the demonic cultivator. I am probably a superpower user. Xiao Chen said. Superpower user? After Tang Tang heard it, she suddenly looked at Xiao Chen with some horror. She knew how powerful arcanists were. There was once a legend in the Warrior Guild and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It was said that there was once an arcanist who was invincible in the world. Moreover, arcanists were very rare, so the abilities of arcanists were said to be miraculous. For example, Xiao Chen waved his hand, and the teapot on the table flew into Xiao Chen's hand. Xiao Chen waved his hand, and the teapot flew back. Ahem. Tang Tang was stunned. So, you're really white fox? Yes, after the summit ended, I actually began to hint to Yu Xiaochuan that I was interested in you, but I didn't expect that Yu Xiaochuan would really agree to give you to me. Xiao Chen was actually a little shocked. Wasn't Yu Xiaochuan too kind? So that's how it is. Then why didn't you tell me when you called me last night? I was scared to death. Tang Tang suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. Then you are an arcanist. Why did you always appear as a loser before? If I were to say that I only gained my current strength after getting to know you, would you believe me? Xiao Chen asked. Tang Tang was slightly stunned, then nodded. I believe it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been kicked out of the Xiao family. In fact, the first time I used a special ability to kill someone was when Chen Jinkuan clamored to find someone to deal with you. I let him die in a car accident. Xiao Chen said. You killed him, because of Shen Jingxian, right? Tang Tang suddenly said, was it really because of me? Both. Xiao Chen didn't hide it. Hey, I like you now, and you don't lie to me. Tang Tang smiled. I found that I really can't ask you for anything from being a buddy to now, I'm sorry. Xiao Chen said. There's nothing to be sorry about. I heard that you have been chasing her when you were in number 1 middle school. Tang Tang didn't care. She thought that Xiao Chen liked Cheng Menjiang, but after returning to the Tang family for a period of time, she found out that Xiao Chen used to chase Shen Jingxian. I'm with her. Xiao Chen nodded and didn't hide it. If you are White Fox, then I know. Tang Tang also nodded. Right, since you killed Chen Jinkuan, why didn't you kill Yu Xiaochuan? Yu Xiaochuan's eyes widened in the monitoring room. D*MN, the most vicious thing is a woman's heart. She actually let White Fox kill me? Is this the rhythm of an adulterer murdering her husband? Yu Xiaochuan is a good person. He is not particularly bad. He also gave me money to pursue you and push you down, so I kept him alive. He is no longer a threat to me. Maybe you don't know, but his cultivation method can't touch women at the moment. Xiao Chen said. I was wondering why he had become so cold recently. He never made any unreasonable requests to me. So that's why. Tang Tang suddenly realized. At this moment, Xiaochuan didn't doubt it anymore. There were very few people who knew that he cultivated the chrysanthemum treasure book, but Xiaochuan actually knew it. That meant that he was undoubtedly White Fox, because he had asked him about the chrysanthemum treasure book. Moreover, Xiaochuan also understood why White Fox was so angry when he asked him to help assassinate Xiaochuan. Who wouldn't be angry when he killed himself? However, when he heard Xiaochuan say that he thought he was a good person, he was suddenly elated. Xiaochuan was still the best. Young Master Kun, so hero White Fox is Xiaochuan. Now that we know this secret, won't we be able to blackmail him? Moreover, Chen Jinkuan was also killed by him, hee. In this monitoring room, the Yu clan's disciple on duty laughed and said, "Yes, White Fox is actually Xiaochuan." Xiaochuan nodded and patted the disciple's shoulder. "If we announce this news." The disciple was halfway through his sentence. The next moment, he couldn't speak because his neck had been broken. Xiaochuan looked at him coldly and said lightly, "You know too much. Do you still want to harm hero White Fox?" After that, he kicked the disciple's body to the side, then took out the monitoring hard disk from the monitoring device. With a squeeze, the hard disk turned into a pile of scrap iron. Xiaochuan originally wanted to admire hero White Fox's majestic appearance in the monitoring room, but he didn't expect to see such a secret. However, after that, it was all Xiaochuan and Tang Tang's conversation. Xiaochuan didn't want to watch anymore. He directly cut off the line in his villa room and walked out of the monitoring room. Of course, it wasn't that he didn't want to watch, but he was afraid that someone would break into the monitoring room again and discover this secret. Xiaochuan casually called a disciple outside the monitoring room. The disciple inside wanted to peep into his villa room and was killed by him, so he asked the disciple to deal with it. The disciple didn't suspect anything and directly dragged the dead disciple away. Inside the villa, Xiaochuan looked at Tang Tang and held her hand. Tang Tang listened to Xiaochuan's soul-stirring experience and couldn't help but secretly wonder, "Why didn't you say so earlier, Xiaochuan? I didn't know at that time that I would have such a status and strength one day. I have already surpassed the young master of the Xiao family by so much." Xiaochuan was actually a little emotional. When he was the young master of the Xiao family, Xiaochuan didn't have the connections and respect he had now. "Then, what should we do in the future?" Tang Tang asked. "Xiaochuan probably won't dare to touch you. You can stay in the Yu family for the time being. I will come to see you regularly." Xiaochuan said. "Actually, I want to go back to school." Tang Tang sighed. "It should be impossible for the time being. The Tang family will not agree to you going back to school, unless you are in the same class as Xiaochuan and have the same seat." Xiaochuan said. "Forget it. I feel uncomfortable all over when I see him." Tang Tang shook her head. "Let's not talk about the future first. Tell me what we can do today." Xiaochuan's heart beat a little faster. He replaced Xiaochuan's position in the wedding room. It was impossible to say that he didn't have any thoughts about Tang Tang. "Do you want to do that with me?" Tang Tang still talked to Xiaochuan in the same style as before. She was not shy and said what she wanted to say. She was used to it. Even if her relationship with Xiaochuan had changed, she was not willing to deliberately change anything. She believed that Xiaochuan also liked Tang Tang, who was straightforward. Ugh. Xiaochuan didn't know how to do it. "Xiaochuan, can you be more natural? Where is your courage to take my photo and rub it?" Tang Tang looked at Xiaochuan's embarrassed look, and she was a little dumbfounded. "Can't we be like before?" "Yes, but I haven't seen you for a long time. I'm a little not used to it." Xiaochuan sweated a little. "Then, can I push you tonight?" "I'm afraid not today." Tang Tang said with some depression, "Damn, my sister is afraid that Xiaochuan will touch me, so she took some emergency contraceptive pills a few days in advance. Her menstruation is coming. At yen #@%. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. Tang Tang was as tough as ever. Even if she became a beautiful sweet girl now, she couldn't change her manly character. Look at your disappointed look. Have you had thoughts about me for a long time? Last time, when I had a cold, at my house? The way you looked at me wasn't right. I knew you had thoughts about me. Tang Tang looked at Xiao Chen with a smile. Yes. Xiao Chen didn't care about anything now. He nodded and admitted it directly. At that time, I thought, is my taste quite heavy? It's okay, but fortunately, your pill is quite magical. I'm thin where I should be thin, but the places you like to see are not thin. Said Tang Tang. Can you not tempt me? Xiao Chen thought of the scene at the time, and his heart couldn't help but sway. His eyes also drifted to Tang Tang's chest. Look at you. Tang Tang couldn't help but laugh. Let me help you. Help me? Xiao Chen was stunned. Don't pretend to be pure. Tang Tang rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen. What did you say to you Xiao Chuan that day? What did you say I gave you? N? Xiao Chen's eyes lit up. He looked at Tang Tang with a little surprise. I didn't expect, she was so bold. Okay, don't look at me. Although I haven't done it before, my skills should be good. Watching AV is not a rare thing for a manly woman. Said Tang Tang, you're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.